Welcome back, guys, from set one into set two of the day. Hopefully you caught your breath. Gore and I certainly did. And what a first set of the day it was, Gore. Whew, we can finally breathe. We can take a deep breath as we jump in to set number two. It's going to be fun.
I mean, it was 7 long games when it comes down to it. A lot of 4-3s, a lot more contested than I think anybody really expected. And IP themselves, I think maybe the Knights, not so much. They were so close to doing it. And I think, honestly, next time around, maybe they're going to be able to seal the deal a little bit more. But again, the start of the day, and now we get to go immediately into a World Finals rematch again. Like, it's the best of the best.
I think we're a little spoiled for day number one.
Tomorrow's going to suck.
Tomorrow's the worst. No, tomorrow's going to be, of course, great as well. But let's look at this matchup. I mean, these are two teams. We're kind of following both of their stories here.
Yeah.
From MSI to split number one, both teams with early exits. Na'Vi, they get 3-0'd. And Envy on the opposite side get 3-1. So two teams that won't be happy with how they performed at the midseason invitation.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. This is going to be one of those matchups that is kind of like a face-saving match where it's like they honestly, as much as both of these teams won a 4-0, I think their best scenario would be for this to go all the way to 7, all the way to 6, something like we have seen in the finals. Because when it comes to a lot of these matchups, like not only do you need to save face after MSI, but you want something kind of like this when it comes down to, again, being on the world stage. The way it ended, the way Rock Monkey plays specifically is so deadly, and that's what was missing at MSI. This performance didn't happen at MSI. Right. This was what won them Worlds.
And they've played 2 games since Worlds, splitting both of those games, one for Envy, one for Na'Vi. Na'Vi had a sub in the form of Zarini, though, in week 1, who's shown that, he's a PPL caliber player. So I don't know how much you can look into that, but you're absolutely right, I think, in that you look at this matchup, you look at any matchup for Envy specifically, you need Rock Monkey to have a big performance. I mean, that's an easy blanket statement to make, but at the end of the day, Rock Monkey is so important, so integral to this team.
And it's one of those things when you look at the other two players, I think head-to-head, like Rock Monkey versus Mutu is going to be very big, but Random Noob and Creatives are the other two to kind of look at in this match as potentially being pretty impressive. Like, he has been amazing, and he has been not there. But when it comes down to it, like a lot of it that comes down, these teams have a lot of history. Like, I mean, prior to the World Finals, like you see these guys hanging out in each other's hotel rooms. Like Phoenix and Rubu are absolutely like best friends when it comes down to it. The entire team love each other when it comes down to it. You can kind of see that coming through after, I believe, the win did happen on Worlds. But then you also look at it, and it's like almost every single time they meet, it goes one way or the other. I think last year Envy kind of had a little bit more. They won against them in, I believe, Vegas as well as in Worlds. They lost to them when it came down to the spring and summer invitationals. Then you come into this year, it's 1-1 from split 1. They both get knocked out early on. Like, they just follow a very similar path. They have a very similar play style. They both live or die on their carries.
Sure. Or the lack of the carry in some cases when the carries don't show up. Flipping the script to look over at Na'Vi, in many of the ways are kind of a similar team. I mean, they're obviously very well known for their point control, sort of controlling aspect of their team. Maybe some more of that today. Phoenix is so integral to this team as well. Look for him to have a big game today, as well.
And these are the only two teams, I think, that we can genuinely draw parallels.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, well, you've got Lazy, you've got Tolki, you've got Phoenix, you've got Rubu. Every single one of them. Like, the only discrepancy might come down between Spunky and Mr. Hayes, and that's just because Spunky is much more utility, Mr. Hayes is a little more aggressive, but they both very much love their Maldamba. Mr. Hayes does like to lean on his Furia, at least we saw out of the last couple of games from them during the last split, where that can very well change the pace of a game because of the kills he's getting. And then you look at their damage numbers. Mutu and Rock Monkey are going to play kind of different champions, but they both have the same impact. Same thing for Creatives, same thing for Random Noob. Like, it's almost the exact same team. Like, you could honestly just copy-paste one onto the other, and it feels like the exact same. And that's why it's so interesting to watch them go up against each other.
And one thing we really noticed, and I'm sure you noticed it as well, was how important Cuscutie was to the Knights today, able to find the kills, find a lot of healing. And honestly, Mr. Hayes brings a lot of that same energy, I think, to this Envy lineup, where not only, of course, he's doing his healing, he's kind of in the back, seeing the plays as they unfold, but he brings some offensive threat as well to the healing role.
And I think that's the biggest thing. If I remember correctly, has the highest KDA out of split number
That's right,
one
you were doing
as
all those
well.
stats.
So like being able to kind of bring that impact just on its own, but also it's these games, right, where it's not just is he playing Moldamba and hitting awesome Dread Serpents via, or a la Spunky, a la Bird, but is he playing a Furia and getting 6 kills with 1 death? Like, is he kind of half carrying the game on his shoulders?
Right.
It's the impact that Mr. Hayes has, and when he's locked in and on one of those champions, it becomes honestly a different team.
On paper, is this matchup just kind of too hard to call? Do you think that this is a very day-dependent matchup in that if Envy shows up, if the carries on, maybe it is, maybe it's truly just the carries on either side. You know what you're going to get with your frontliners, with your healers. If you get, hot-handed carries on one side, maybe they take the day.
Yeah, honestly, when it comes down to it, we've seen in the past, like even not necessarily central to this matchup, but did creatives happen to go big? I think the last time, or one of the last times these two teams met, Envy had a lead on them. I remember Na'Vi distinctly losing 3-1. Creatives has an out-of-his-mind Bright Marsh Bomb King game, and just that built back the confidence that Na'Vi were lacking at the beginning of the set, and they end up winning 3 maps in a row to close it out, right? It was one of the only... Like, it's the closest we've come to a reverse sweep is the only way to really, really say that. So you're looking at this as, yeah, it is hard to call because not only do they play very similarly, but they both have the same kind of capabilities. They both get down about the same things. They both get in their own heads about the same things. Like, when I say these teams are almost identical, I genuinely mean it from top to bottom. The things that make both of these teams, and again, in 2018 world champions, is the fact that they play their game so incredibly well. And that's why NIP kind of threw a wrench in everything, where it's just like, oh man, you don't have to play our game anymore. If you know their game, all of a sudden we're left behind.
Yeah, we're doing the same idea. They've certainly come into form recently. I'm gonna play a little quiz with you. We've had some in the breaks. All right, so you got the Warriors, the Cavs, and Envy. What do those teams have in common?
They blow 3-1 leads.
They blow 3-1 leads. Not only in that game that you were mentioning, Envy versus Na'Vi, almost a complete reverse sweep. Na'Vi coming back from being down 3-1 earlier in this split. But also during MSI, notably Envy, every single game they lost, they were up 3-1 at some point in every single game they played at MSI, and they just could not close them out. So, maybe a few weeks of practice, some rest and relaxation, that changes things around. But the ball was just not bouncing in their favor at the MSI.
The biggest thing I think for them is how they bounce back, right?
Sure.
I mean, not only just bouncing back being important, but how they do it. Because Envy, I mean, you look at Split 1, they also went through a stint of, 3 weeks where it was just oof. Every time you watch it, it was not the Envy we remembered. And it was around the time Atlas and Mani got introduced, they didn't seem to understand the drafting that they wanted to go for. They didn't seem to understand the way the meta had shifted. And so it was that area where the game changed from them. They weren't the game changers anymore, and so they had to kind of work around that, which was just ultimately too difficult for them for 3 weeks. Then they finally hit their stride again, and they've been kind of climbing back for that. Now I think we're starting to look towards they know the meta. Everybody's kind of been playing it. Yeah, Lex being introduced I think changes a little bit, but you still have some of that control.
That's an interesting question I kind of want to bring up as we take a look at what maps are going to be banned out for set number 2 of the day. Of course, Frozen Guard and Frog Isle for each team respectively. And then Stonekeep, Timber Mill. Oh, Timber Mill. Na'Vi does not want to go to Timber Mill. I know what happened last time they went there. And that's an interesting point, and I kind of want to digress back to, is Lex was a huge thing for NIP, a huge pick for NIP in set number 1. Do you think there are guys in this matchup between Envy and Na'Vi that can play this Lex? Do you think that's maybe just an NIP sort of pick, or do you think maybe a little more Lex in set number 2?
I wouldn't be surprised if Mutu or Creatives can pull it out. Yeah. And I wouldn't be too surprised if Rock Monkey can pull it out. That's actually where, that's where it kind of deviates.
Right.
Rock Monkey was the one that, admittedly, Random Noob could play Zen, and Random Noob did play Zen for this team. Didn't quite do it as well as I think I see out of Rock Monkey. Last year, that would have been a complete reverse statement, but when it came down to this year and who was playing it better, Rock Monkey was the one who was driving it home. But when it comes to Lex, it feels like it's going to be much more put it in the hit scan player's hands. Right. Mutu, yeah, he already plays flanks. I mean, he's got the Mutu flick for Androxus named after him for a reason. Ooh. If you're looking at Lex coming through, I imagine Rock Monkey actually might be the most likely to play it in this set.
You said it.
I said Mutu. All right,
Andrew?
Yeah. Andrew?
Do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but it's going to be very map dependent. I think
Right.
Andro, if he comes out, we're going to have to see a Serpent Beach, which is available, or we're going to have to see a Jaguar Falls. So one of those two, I think, enables him the most. And most importantly, he's going to have someone important to go against. Like, if we see random noob lock in specifically like a Drogos,
Yeah.
that should be an absolutely hit the go pedal
Andro,
for the
absolutely.
Andro here for Na'Vi. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out as the set goes on.
I'll double down on the meta changes. How about Willow? Do you think Willow maybe comes through? We saw her a little bit in set number 1. Maybe random noob brings out the Willow. Maybe Creatives feels comfortable on her. I mean, obviously a good champion. Brightmarsh, maybe not a bad map for the Willow.
Honestly, I wouldn't be upset seeing her. This is one of the maps. Again, when I think Willow, well, I guess now I kind of think Ice Mines because of what we saw earlier. But Stonekeep was really good for it. That's going to be banned away. But Brightmarsh was another map where last year, when she started kind of taking to the meta, she shone bright. But that was, well, Bittner actually
That's true.
making her shine as bright as she did. So it's going to be, I think, a little more on the fence. But I would love to see her. I think she has a solid place. But you have to draft it appropriately. It's not like, oh, we're going to pick Willow
Sure.
first pick and win the game. You have to kind of play the dance a little bit in picks and bans.
Well, an interesting meta thread, even outside of Willow and Lex, is sort of the priority of Ashe over Khan that some teams have shown recently. Normally, it's like, oh, Khan's not banned. We're first picking him right off the bat. Wow, Na'Vi actually, they're over-prioritizing, not over, maybe just correctly prioritizing Eevee and Cassie. There's your boy Mike coaching this time around, not playing in this game. But
You can still
those feel
spam the
like
bike.
those two, you can still spam the bike absolutely to help Mike. But the Eevee Cassie picks here seem like not only just comfort picks for Na'Vi, but let's make Rock Monkey, let's make Random Noob as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah, being able to, again, chip away a little bit. Unfortunately, Leon, like, so, what, 3-4 months ago, this would have been perfectly fine because you grab that Cassie and, man, where does Rock Monkey go? Leon, like, just disappeared from the meta.
Right.
Now she's back in it. People have shown that she not only can work, but she can work really, really well. If you look at someone like Bittner, Rock Monkey, I think, deserves to be on that list. I expect this to hit just as hard. And you get Ashe Khan. It's not a typical point tank kind of oriented draft, but I imagine Tulki potentially on the Ashe. Tulki could even go to the Khan. Either one could play it because Rubu can play either of the others. And no matter what, you get just enough aggression.
Still looking for a blaster as well as a healer for Envy. Where's Mr. Hayes going to land? That's the big question here in these last two picks as well as Random Noob. Do you think Eevee Cassie first picking away from Rock Monkey and Random Noob is worth giving away Ashe Khan?
No. Honestly, like I think there's a couple of areas. I don't think Cassie needed to be that high priority unless that is, well, I guess with the Eevee, actually, the Cassie came through to help kind of thwart the Mave, not
Right.
having the same impact with Midnight. If Scout is available there for Na'Vi, so you don't have to use anything that's CC immune to just kind of get rid of it. So I feel like they were playing 3D chess.
Sure.
Whereas Envy's like playing 4D chess. They were like, okay, well, I mean, like, we might not have even been going Mave anyway, but okay, like, I guess, like,
guess
you can
that
take it
works,
away
right?
from us. That's perfectly fine. But it leaves it open for Random Noob to play something maybe he's a little more comfortable with, or at least a little more recently comfortable with.
Such an interesting way to watch sort of this meta unfold. Honestly, you pick the Eevee, and normally, like you said, you kind of go to the Mave, but this time they're like, all right, well, we still got Willow. Willow's good right now, and it is going to be the triple DPS composition for Na'Vi. Eevee, Cassie, Furia, Barrack, Mave for the right side. And then Envy drafting Ashley on Khan, Willow, Damba over there on the left.
So the biggest thing about blasters that we normally mention, Drogo specifically, is that you need someone hit scan to kind of take them out of the sky. You don't quite need that with Willow, Mave, as well as Cassie, and Eevee really could all hunt her down. So Random Noob's going to be looking to try and maybe slip under the radar and get past them. But it puts a lot more pressure, I think, onto Rubu and onto Rock Monkey to kind of play bodyguard, get those kills on the side, win themselves a side flank, and push forward on Brightmarsh.
Oh, it's going to be a fun one. Set 1 went 7. Set 2 maybe even has some more of that in the recipe for us. But to find out, let's send it down to Stefan and Nick to take away set number 2.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for coming here, joining me and Nick, the Obi-Wan to my Anakin. Thank you so much.
Happy to have you, brother.
It's so exciting for us to see this game. Envy versus Na'Vi, the first map being Brightmarsh. Game 1. We heard a little bit from the desk, but what do you?
Yeah.
Whose comp do you like more here?
Man, I gotta be honest, I don't really know. These are very vastly different. Not only does Envy have a completely different flavor of composition in the 3 DPS, but you're looking over at a character like Willow. We saw a little bit of her today, but getting the full essence of what this character is going to be, how she's going to perform, and even to the notes of certain players placed, the same character different ways. We've never really seen Blast Flower be the meta selection either for, like, she's not like Lex, where she has had her time in the sun before. However, it was a very different talent, a very different style, and it looks like Random Noob could be setting himself up for first blood.
Yeah, he's in the high ground, holding this position so well. He had to back off. Nice awareness from Random Noob. He does get some damage on the lazy. He doesn't go down, though. No kill yet, but 15% on the point for Team Envy.
Nobody just yet, indeed. Random Noob looking to probably get himself back up on the high ground here, playing the low ground for the time being, with Rock Monkey slides to the back line, and he will find first blood.
Nice first blood on the side of Team Envy. We're seeing the pressure so hard already. Phoenix in a bad spot. He's taking shots. Doesn't end up go down, though. Nice healing coming out from Furia. They do get the kill on the Phoenix. 2 down on the side of Envy, though. Not as Vincere currently up in terms of characters, but that leaves Toki on the point alone.
Grabbing a battle shout, he's backpedaling out, and it's actually Spunky who's going to claim that blood. 15% for Na'Vi. They have a mountain to climb, though. 90% on the objective for Team Envy. A couple of ultimates starting to come up. Past 90% charge is the Enflame from Spunky. 83 on the Midnight, 93 on the Scout. Things are about to get interesting.
For sure. We're not going to see any ults pop yet. There's the Enflame, and just as you mentioned it, Nick, they do pop it on a dime. Rubu gets melted almost immediately. 90% on the point for Envy. Rock Monkey finds a trade of his own, though, and Random Noob does get picked off. Nice job coming on the side of Envy and Na'Vi, because both of them are trading 1-for-1. Nice Enlightenment. Double kill overtime right now. And that does a triple kill. My goodness. Team Envy a quadra kill. Are you kidding me? Team Envy is on a roll right now. Nice job coming out from Rock Monkey.
Let's go, baby. What an electric start to this set. What an electric start to this season. And a nice little round 1 team fight for Stefan to kick off his casting career. I love it. On all fronts, the boxes are checked. Very, very good start to this set. So much to break down there. The first couple of ultimates come out from Na'Vi, but Envy just had enough to answer. They were slightly behind, but managed to bring that one back. That 90% to nothing lead on the objective ended up paying off.
Here are the ultimates coming through. The overpower is there. Random Noob finding 2 kills. Envy, Rubu, finding another kill onto Nodus Vincere. Creatives finding a kill of his own, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The rest of Team Envy is just steamrolling them right now. Now Creatives is the last one to go down. Not necessarily, it was a team wipe, but they do have somebody that's already respawning. The ultimates are online for Team Envy. They do have 2 left, while Nodus Vincere have none, but they do have the Dome Shield building.
Pretty tight race for damage here. You can see Rock Monkey just a little bit ahead of the pack here. He opens up with a quadra kill, so naturally he's going to be a bit out in front. 7-2. Not quite the performance that Tenor had earlier. He had himself one hell of a set. 11-0 after the first round on Bright Marsh. This one is going to be a war. These are 2 teams, top 3 in the league. Both at full strength, no subs, no visa issues, no nothing, no excuses, no funny business. Everyone is here, everyone is rested, everyone is well practiced and prepared for this matchup that is as old as time.
We're already seeing it. Both teams playing pretty passive. Na'Vi on the really the back pedal here. We see Ruby's always in the back. Rubu's always in the back lane. Apologize. There comes the Enflame. They do find a kill on the Rubu, and now they're going to start pushing into Team Envy to make sure they can clean this up.
There it is. 42 seconds on the clock. Plenty of time to work with. If Envy don't want to go for the full commitment here. Na'Vi burn, just that Enlightenment. It's enough to kind of keep Envy on the back foot for the time being. No streaks burning. As you can see, this has been a very competitive game so far. Still a couple of things to work with as we head towards what is going to be our final fight of round number 1. Ice Storm Scout versus the Enlightenment and the Dread Serpent. Envy, frankly, are in a better spot in terms of their ultimate economy.
Yeah, we see Toki's up here, still holding the point, still doing really well. One of the ones that didn't end up dying during that exchange. He is still there, holding on as best as he can. There goes the Midnight, though. We're probably going to see an engage coming out from Na'Vi, though, and here comes Mutu going in onto the con. They do find a kill on the Toki. Phoenix picks it up, and they do defend successfully because of that. 1-1 score currently on Bright Marsh.
Mutu gets blown up there at the end, but it's a 3 DPS composition.
Right.
That's when he dies, that's how it's going to happen. He's going to get exploded from almost full health. But that engagement with the Midnight was very, very good, very clean. Mutu playing Maeve is going to, you know, someone's got to step up and play that character for this roster. Here's the start of that delicious quadra kill.
Man,
Rock Monkey hits both with that presence. A little 360, almost reminiscent of a tenor move there. 360 sidesteps that beam from Spunky and manages to finish it off there. Awesome start for Envy. Allows him to get that final 10%. Heading into this round, 8-2, 3-2 for Random Noob. Still ahead on the damage track. You can see it's a very tight race below first place. 34K, only about 5,000 damage separating second place from all the way down there at 5th, but it's largely red. It's a lot of Na'Vi filling up this damage chart despite the 3 DPS composition.
Scout comes out to try and get things started a little bit that way so Na'Vi can actually see what's going on. Spunky finds the kill onto Random Noob. We see Rock Monkey is doing a little bit of damage of his own. Can't find kills though, and since they're down one man, but Rubu, never mind, just ends up picking it up, gets a kill onto Phoenix, and now we're going to see this team fight continue to go on. The assert dominance to start things off though.
Nice stun there. That's going to be pretty much the cleanup there on a Spunky. Nothing he can do about that just yet. No resilience online to speak of. It's a fear to make this the cleanest team fight of the game so far. 4-0 in favor of Envy.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you look, Envy has used up a lot of their ultimates for that exchange, for that fight, and now Navi's are currently building. I was about to make a point about how Envy had so many ults up compared to Na'Vi, but now it's going to be vice versa. 72% on the point for Envy. Oh, sorry, 72% on the point for Na'Vi. Envy's currently building that up, and they're really trying to see what it is that they can do here to see if they can try and close this one out.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. That was a great fight from Envy, but there's going to be another one. They're going to have to do it again. Inflamed is popped from Na'Vi. They want to take this point back.
Yeah, there we go. There's the Ice Storm coming out along with the Inflame. Just like you said, Nick, they do find the kill onto Tolki, and we see that the Midnight also rang true as well. They're applying this pressure, going so far into the backline. We're seeing these kills pick up on the side of Red, and the Dome Shield drops. They want to control this point. They want to make sure they get it. Overtime is ticking down. It looks like Navi's going to be able to net the second point onto Bright Marsh.
Down but not out. They will indeed grab it. Na'Vi is going to grab this one. 2-1 now reads the scoreboard. Envy have one little ultimate to fall back on, but it's going to be the defensive here. Sometimes we'll see teams struggle to shift into that defensive gear, but I think this one's early enough. Envy haven't been on the offense, you know, all game long. It's just one round. They just need to figure out how they want to get this one set up, where they want to hold from. Normally, you'll see teams, when they lose a point like that, sometimes they'll have ultimates left over. This is that time you start to see people burn things they didn't get a chance to use on the point fight just to get some defensive hold. And this is, you know, it's all the same in the end. I mean, Envy, 4-0 there. Na'Vi have to go back to base. But again, some of this is inconsequential for the most part. Na'Vi are going back, spending some credits, picking up some items. Let's take a look at the item screen and kind of see what they're going for. As you know, this mid-round brawl, again, this doesn't mean too much in terms of the grand scheme of the game. People are just burning ultimates they didn't get a chance to use on the objective. People are starting to hit those level 2 core offensive items. Mutu's diverged into Wrecker already. You're starting to see some people go for their resiliences. A couple of resilience 2s already online. Spunky has gone into Nimble.
Yeah, there's a lot of ultimates as well as when you were talking, Nick. There are a bunch of that were just flying back and forth, and not to just get it confused. This is for both of these teams trying to find and net this momentum. Creatives does get a kill on a Random Noob, and now follow that up with Mutu getting a kill on a Rubu, and now we're going to see this push happening. Both frontliners gone along with 1 DPS. Envy, despite all those ults, they are on the back pedal with Na'Vi, not really using a single one in that exchange.
With every flip, there must be a flop, and Na'Vi have found their flop, and they did it without resources. That's the big note that you just mentioned. Still with 4 strong, coming around this final corner already. Envy maybe biting off a little bit more than they could chew. They have to let this payload get to that hurry up and wait spot, though. That's the big key. The payload really wasn't within striking distance of a conversion. So now this is it. This is where Envy have to take this fight, and this is where they have to win.
Nice shoulder bash coming out on the side of Rubu, but immediately you saw the rest of Na'Vi swarm onto him, pick him off, and now Toki's left all alone. He does end up dying as well, followed by Rock Monkey. The kills are coming up red. Envy's trying to find their positioning. They're trying to find their momentum, but they can't find it, and they only used 1 ultimate for that fight.
I know. That's what's so brutal. It's such a high-value offense. So much efficiency runs into the beam here. A battle shout. That'll be the last breath that he breathes this round. Na'Vi with a nutty clean round. Once they got that offense moving, I mean, it was done and dusted. They used a damn Midnight. I mean, it's nothing, really. It's a strong ultimate for sure, but very rarely does that completely win you the team fight.
Ooh, nice hit coming out from Phoenix. I didn't even realize that. This is a little bit of the replay it is that you're seeing. It's just a lot of damage coming out on the side of Cassie. And you brought it up before. Now we see that Envy's somewhat at the top. Rock Monkey is carrying that damage, but we're seeing that the rest of Navi's not that far behind. Yeah, not that far behind. You did mention it's a triple DPS comp, but at the same time, we're seeing how strong that is compared to Envy's comp right now, because Navi's making it look good.
For sure. And what is so scary is that Na'Vi just buy a couple of more almost maybe finisher items. This is the point where you almost spend them if you got them, because the game could come to a close here. Na'Vi have 3 ultimates. They have the ultimate advantage by far over Team Envy. Popping the scout. There's really not much that Envy can fight back with. Already first blood going their way.
And nice ult coming out from Furia. The Inflame goes up. They find 2 kills. Mutu immediately. We see the rest of Na'Vi just pushing in, fighting back Team Envy. They're trying so hard to hold on. Nice movement coming out from Creatives, though, but 69% onto the point for Na'Vi. Really, really close, but Envy has barely even touched it yet. Don't even have a percentage up on the board.
Envy have hung on exactly long enough. Any longer, and Na'Vi would have closed this game, but now the ultimates are back up. They are available. They're starting to poke their heads out for Team Envy, but they got to get kills. I don't know that just poke damage is enough.
Yeah, and we're seeing it too. Random Noob's trying to go for a few shots here. He finds Spunky, but look at the percentage on the point. I heard the Dread Serpent go off as well. That might be the start of something, but every time this midnight happens, a lot of crazy stuff goes on. Mutu finds a kill. There's 1. Will he get Toki? He finds 2. Will he find another? He's trying to go for the Maldamba. He slithers away, and now the rest of Team Envy is going on the point. Nice precision coming out from Rock Monkey. Even though the game has been going more so on the side of Na'Vi, Team Envy has been doing really, really well.
Yeah, damn, what a take back there from Team Envy. They still have Overpower as well, which, when you hit it, pretty much one of the most impactful ultimates in the game. Envy, by the skin of their teeth, hang on Bright Marsh. Really, really good fight from both sides. I thought Mutu was going to bring that one back.
Right.
He's playing phenomenally on the Mave right now. Like I said, every time Midnight comes out, somebody dies. Blood is drawn. Mutu has very rarely missed on his opportunities that he's full committed to.
Man, now look at what's happening right now. 2 minutes, 5 seconds left on the clock, and the wipes are just coming through from Team Envy. There was such a strong shift after that point fight. They held the momentum. Now they're applying so much aggression. We're seeing Rock Monkey take a few shots up into the high ground, and off of this position alone, we're seeing how Envy's controlling the space right now.
Can't stress enough how close that last point fight really was. Na'Vi, if they could have gotten that kill on the Blinken, I believe that was on a Random Noob. Random Noob was very low but didn't get finished off. If he died there, I think Na'Vi probably would have just won the game. He stays alive, comes back. He's the first ultimate pops for this Envy take-back fight. And now here we are. It's a chance for Envy rounding the final corner, frankly coming down the home stretch, trying to even it up.
Na'Vi has all of their ultimates, well, sorry, not all of them, but one of them currently building up, 4 of them online. A lot of them are going to really have to pick and choose when they want to use it. The Willow Oat does come through. She wants the higher ground. She wants the advantage. Finds 1 kill. Nice push. Excuse me. I thought there were people on the point.
There should have been. It's a 3 DPS composition. You got to do that dance very delicately, especially with 2 power frontliners like a Khan, like a Ashe. If there's 2 people, 2 beefy characters that are going to move you away from where you want to be, it's probably them 2. There's the dive for Mutu. A lot of things paying off, and again, this is kind of where things started to turn around. Random Noob gets a lot of value in this fight. Falls back from this position. This was it. If Eevee killed him on this blink him, that's where I think things would have turned around. Right. He stays alive, gets his out of combat healing, goes up in the Fae Flight, excuse me, and it's pretty much curtains from there. Moves his slash line back into positive ground. The damage chart is mixed up all over the place now. Nobody from Na'Vi has finished a Cauterize, though. No Caught 3s. They're all diverging into other items. You know, it's just something interesting to note. I wouldn't say it's making or breaking any of these fights.
Yeah, the scout does come through, as you would expect at the beginning of the round for Cassie. We're seeing a few fights break out here and there. Toki is low. Mutu looking for an opportunity. He smells blood. You see him. There's the Enflame that comes out. Now he's running around looking for a kill.
There it is, and like we said, pretty much somebody has died in all of these Midnights, but as Resilience comes online, it doesn't last as long. Mutu has less and less time in the blind to get these kills. A great fear from Team Envy is going to set Random Noob up.
Nice job on the Dread Serpent. The Dome Shield does go down, though. Random Noob's trying to find somebody, but he finds himself in the Dome instead. Ends up getting picked off. Spunky finds the kill on a Toki. 78%, steadily climbing. I don't know if Envy's going to be able to make this comeback right now.
Really nice stuff here from Phoenix. He's playing blame the DPS, but you can tell he's an off-tank at heart because he sat on the capture objective the back half of that fight and literally just took the game home. Very nicely done.
Nicely done. Perfect way to put it. No fluff there right now. Na'Vi itself has been doing extremely well. That's such a strong fight coming out from game 1 on Brightmarsh, but
yeah,
even still, it's like, that was close. That was last point.
Frankly, I'm surprised Envy don't win that game. I think the way that last fight, started, the Midnight doesn't actually get anything. Everybody kind of pops out of that one very, very quickly. They all have to sort of fall back into that corner. Both Spunky and Mutu get hit by a pretty good Dread Serpent. I was like, this is it.
Right,
Random
yeah,
Noob's
yeah.
right there. I'm pretty sure they're just going to clean this one up and win the game. Fighting back tooth and nail. Unfortunately, when Random Noob started to fall back, he retreated right into the Dome
Right,
Shield.
yeah.
And Dome Shield is one of those sleeper damage ultimates where if you step under it for a second, take one tick of that flame turret, you're taking almost 1,000 damage from the dot. It's tough.
Yeah, such a good point to be making, too. Once Willow died, that was it. But don't leave yet. That was only game 1. We still have plenty of more Paladins to go. We're going to cut right here to a quick break.
Oh, yeah.
Respawn, the official gaming chair of the Paladins Premier League.
Welcome back. Hope you got that one right. I sure didn't. But what did happen is Na'Vi found game 1 in their favor. Another 3-3, though. Already going 7 points game number 1. I guess that's what we would have expected, Gore. We would have expected maybe 7 points right off the bat.
I mean, and 7 points on Brightmarsh is actually pretty impressive when it comes
Especially
down
when
to
we
it. That's
saw
not
a
typically
4-0 Brightmarsh to start off the day.
not usually a long map for that one. And it's even weirder when you look at the first couple rounds because Envy go really, really big in this point fight, really, really big in the second point fight. There's a point where Rock Monkey, I think, gets like a quadra kill. It goes into the next round. They almost full wipe Phoenix, or the entirety of Na'Vi, and kind of keep themselves going. And it doesn't really amount to anything. They don't turn that into as much as it could have. And I think that's more a testament to the staying power of Na'Vi.
And Rock Monkey does what you would expect him to do. 95k damage, 14-8. Random Noob, despite being 12-10, kind of had a rough go of things. And honestly, Phoenix, the stat I think that surprises me the most is the fact that Phoenix was only 8-10. I feel like he was having so much more of an impact on that game than 8-10 would dictate. But Mutu just had a huge game this time around. Creatives at 11-6 as well. I mean, they did what you would hope a triple DPS composition would do. I
mean, I would argue it even in the same way. Like, Mutu being just 13-9 kind of blows my mind. I feel like it could have been way more. I mean, he did such a massive amount of damage, 102,000 damage in this game.
Yeah, crazy.
That could have just been turned up a little more in terms of the kills, but a lot of that goes to show where Creatives and maybe Phoenix were picking up some of their kills, Spunky as well, putting his name on there. But you have to look at the fact that Mutu, to me, this game was exactly what he needed it to be, which is a showcase that he can still play at the level people remember him playing at. If you go back, you look at MSI, it didn't hit all the marks. Did not quite have you thinking, yeah, that's Mutu, that's the guy I remember. This makes me think of Mutu from last year. This makes me think of a Mutu that has been on the world stage a few times. This is a lot more of what I expect when I see Na'Vi.
Absolutely. I agree with that final point. This is what you expect when you see Na'Vi playing on the stage here. And Mutu doing it justice. Mu 3 almost in that game. Mu 2 is, his standard form. Mu 3 is really what we saw.
When he evolves.
That's right, he evolves. And Maeve as well. You look at Maeve, I don't think we saw her at all in our first set of the day. I mean, Lex was so highly prioritized.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an asterisk on that because it's NIP and a seemingly new drafting Pittsburgh Knights. But Maeve, I think, is still going to be a talking point in this matchup.
And it was one of those things where she actually was very much only focused in the first set as a ban. Like, it was not something that came through and was picked up often. And so I think that is going to maybe shape more of what we see. Her coming in and having such a big role, I think it is going to be essential in the next couple of maps.
Sure.
And again, being able to go through, now we're going up to Jaguar Falls, so it's another place where anything can happen.
I know, and normally I would say keep your eye out for Pip. Actually, Pip's something that we've not really even been able to touch on because, you know, you get the Willow, you get Lex coming back, maybe Andro could come through here on Jaguar Falls. Pip, they still showed that they want to play Pip despite, Moxie getting hit a little bit. Pip is still certainly a viable pick. I think Evil Mojo is important enough and effective enough is the word that I'm looking for. And you can really turn fights around. Still going with Cassie, though, first off the board. Worked out last time around, hoping for more of the same.
I'm wondering if this is either a very super comfort pick, something that Na'Vi know are going to be really good or know that they're going to be really good with, or if they're looking to flex onto a triple DPS again, right? When it's like, okay, you pick that first. Phoenix played it pretty solidly last game. Are you going for it again? Like, are you trying to just make sure he gets his champion, or like what the mindset behind that first pick, Cassie, is? Because a lot of the time we do see frontline prioritization, but also with the amount of DPS that is making a big difference in the game right now,
sure,
it might just be one of those, we want the high priority, the ones we know we can play at that level as soon as we possibly can, to make sure that if you do throw a loop to us like Lex, we can still handle it.
And they went Cassie Eevee 1-2 off the board, ended up transitioning that into a triple DPS composition for Na'Vi last time around. Ashe Genos, they went Ashe first off the board last time for Envy, going Genos though this time. Barik as well. I mean, Na'Vi are still kind of playing those cards close to their chest. I mean, Cassie Barik doesn't show you completely what they're going for, especially when you go Fury. I believe they had Fury as their healer in game 1 as well.
Yes.
So they're saying, well, we could maybe do the same thing.
And the Inflame works really, really well. I mean, again, this is 3 of the picks that make them so solid. They can flex these last 2 on a triple DPS. If they need to, they can grab another frontline. It is a little more slim in frontlines whenever you get these 4 frontline bans with the Torvald, Makoa, Khan, Atlas, but you still have a little bit of flexibility in there to be able to find somebody. But you don't have to, right? You can play the Ruckus. That's something that both of these teams love and has been big on this map.
Hello.
You can hover the dredge.
You think, Gore?
I mean,
does that make sense?
But he's been played, I think, 3 times he was played. Once on Ice Mines, twice on Jag Falls. No, once on Jag Falls, once on Frog Isle last split.
You're right.
And this was the one where, if I remember correctly, I think he actually did well on Jag Falls and Ice Mines. Lost Frog Isle, as you would kind of expect. That one was a throw for a loop. But either way, he has potential. I just don't know if it's a true potential thing.
Well, Meta Pusher tweeted out, like, we got something special for you.
I thought it was the jerseys.
Oh.
Kneel.
That is much less exciting than what I was hoping for something crazy. You're right. The jerseys are very exciting and very special, so maybe that's exactly what it is. But nothing special pick ban-wise, at least for Envy up to this point. They're going to have that last pick open for a little bit of flexibility. No blasters banned, no blasters chosen up until Eevee for Na'Vi. Different order, same 4 picks for Na'Vi. This is going to be a very telling pick. Same exact competition, different map. Composition. I guess technically the same competition as well. Same competition, same composition, different map. There we go. I saved that one.
To kind of mirror what Kresnik was actually saying during the last set, very similar map style. Flat map, very close, tight space. Definitely something like, if you're looking at 2 maps that are literally going to play the same, Jag Falls and Bright Marsh are 2 of them. Like, there's maybe a couple others you can throw into that, but it fits the same notes. Again, same checkboxes all the way down. And now we get to see it. Random Noob pulling out his Pip.
It's not really something you associate with Random Noob. You don't
anymore.
say Pip Random Noob right off the bat. I mean, now it's maybe Simsaloo as he's in the PPO and Bittner.
I say not anymore, but I think the only reason I did it is because Nick kept saying it, even though they never really played it on Envy.
Sure.
And so it got ingrained in my mind that that's a Random Noob pick, even though he didn't play it. But then it kind of came into it, and he does play it really well. So I expect to see this work out pretty good for Envy, or pretty well for Envy. but there's a lot that's gonna kind of hurt it, I think,
Sure.
overall.
I mean, same composition. I said it right that time for Na'Vi. Did Envy draft differently enough, well enough to deal with the triple DPS this time around, do you think?
I think the Genos is going to be the big difference maker. The Moldamba is enough to save a little bit and kind of save some of the pressure, but Genos is going to enable this Leon, this Pip, to hit harder back, so maybe they can find some of those kills more in favor of them.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun to watch. That's enough speculation from us up here on the desk as Mutu closes his eyes and goes into Zen. Let's send it down to the casters for game number 2.
Come one, come all, back to Paladins Premier League. Thank you so much for staying there. Good job on the desk, guys. We're currently playing Jaguar Falls, game 2 for Na'Vi versus Envy.
I love that team intro from Na'Vi as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Mutu just, I sleep.
Yeah, resident sleeper.
Big sleep, boys. Here are the talent selections for everybody loading on in kind of the same theme as the last composition for Team Envy. They do have the damage amp via Genos this time, however, and they do have a dedicated point front line this time around in the Inara. Hopefully they can use that to their advantage here to really play what Na'Vi's game has historically been, which is just stand on the point better than you do, for longer than you do.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. We see that the rest of Na'Vi actually ended up trying to flank around. They wanted to make sure that Pip didn't get to where he needed to be. Random Noob now forced back. The rest of them are trying to fight, but he's not going to go down with a fight. Nice damage coming out from Mutu. It looked like he was about to die, but nice save. Just very well played, just in general from him.
I'm convinced that a Barrack shot hit him at the exact same time as the Maeve daggers. I was like, he's not in danger right now, and then he's gone.
Right.
He is gone from this earth. We will tell his story, but it's all the same to Na'Vi. 63% and climbing. Team Envy just trying to find a way back in. This one could be over before ultimates are even a factor.
Yeah, the ults are climbing, but like you said, there's not one to be seen yet. We see that Rubu's going all the way around. Nice flank, and the rest of them follow up. Nice awareness from Team Envy. They get 3 kills. They're going to want to find the 4th, or at least force Barrack off of the point, but Rock Monkey with a triple kill. Are you kidding me? Rock Monkey, do you want me to lose my voice today already with 3 kills, a quadra last game, a triple this game?
Oh, man.
Goodness gracious.
I can't promise you this every set of PPL.
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, this is Rock Monkey. He's throwing you some heat for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Rubu's flank starts that all off. Better late than never. 93% for Na'Vi on the objective. Envy are closing the gap, though, now north of 90%.
Mutu tried to see if he can get over the bridge, but they end up killing him. Na'Vi does end up capping the point, though. Or I apologize. Envy was the one that ended up capping the point. Just a little bit. Just got confused there for a little bit. But they do end up getting the point. Envy was the one that capped it. Lightman comes through. Mistimes it.
He's still at Spunky in the background, though, dude. Feels good.
Still a good shot for Rock Monkey, but the Inflame does come out. The team fight's about to start.
Yeah. Certainly is, and this is a team fight that could actually mean something, especially if even more kills come through. Mr. Hayes from downtown finds Phoenix in the laser beam. Yes, sir, that will play. Envy are off to a roaring start in round number 1.
Nice through time and space coming out from Team Envy. Just good awareness overall. I can only say it once before I can just exhaust it. They're on it right now. Like, they've been going back and forth both of these games. First on Bright Bars, now Jaguar Falls! But are you kidding me? The disengagement. Look at him. Look at his face.
The little eyebrow raise.
Yeah, he knew it.
You saw that? That
yeah,
was funny. Oh, that's good stuff there. Rock Monkey, a source of great content today in the PPL. What a set it's been so far between Envy and Na'Vi. 1:30 on the clock. Chickens come out, but fried is Random Noob.
Nice. Good job coming up from Mutu. He actually waited a little bit back to make sure that the Evil Mojo didn't go through all the way. We hear the seismic crash coming through. They do end up hitting it, but it doesn't matter. They get lazy. But the Midnight, every time this happens, there's always bad things afoot. It's a bad omen. We see Mutu in the background. Nice Void Grip coming out. He just gets popped immediately.
Damn, that's tough. Did he ate the whole Void Grip?
Yeah.
Had nothing for it. Whether or not Mr. Hayes knew that was the situation, Mutu was completely out of cooldowns there. He couldn't get himself out of the Void Grip. Sitting still in a Pro League game for 2 full seconds is an absolute death sentence there. Envy capitalized on it. Rubu playing this Ashe looking phenomenal, I might add. Coming up on his second assert dominance here at 74% and climbing. Only 30 seconds left on the clock and this payload is inches away from conversion.
See Mutu trying to go in the background, trying to see if he can get a good flank on the Random Noob again, but Random Noob, he's very wary of his tricks. They just did like a little Scooby-Doo where they went around in a circle. When they went around a circle, didn't find anything, but Mutu finally finds Random Noob. He does end up getting some damage. Now that Random Noob is out of the picture right now, he is going to be able to apply some more pressure, and we're seeing the kills fall one after the other without anybody being able to watch Mutu. Now him and the rest of Na'Vi are on a tear with 3 ultimates online for Na'Vi, 2 online for Envy. This could go anywhere with 3 seconds left on the clock.
Well, Rubu likely just to be left alone here. I have to say, I've been very impressed personally with Mutu's Maeve. He's such a mechanical player, so fast, so accurate, and it's really kind of scary to see it. Applying it to a Maeve with all the cooldowns she has to work with the only thing really limiting Maeve is your ability to hit a very difficult in-hand attack. One of the reasons Maeve has always stayed viable as a flanker is because, you have to get in there with a low HP character. That's just a dangerous job to do. When you look at Maeve, she's one of the few flankers that doesn't actually have fall off on her in-hand attack. You can throw that knife across the map, and it's still going to hit for that 400 damage. It's just extremely difficult to do, but when you put a guy like Mutu on it, he can do it. He can get in there and be that impact player and be that assassin and find those high impact and stay away from Random Noob. That was Scooby-Dooing was the perfect way to put it. That's pretty much what they did, and Mutu managed to come out on top of that one. He's definitely my player of the round.
We're seeing Rubu and Rock Monkey just all the way in the back in the flank. Rock Monkey not even off the horse yet. He smells creative. What are you doing, boy? You trying to run away from me?
Not today. Out of the ice block, Rock Monkey finds the punish. But was it too little too late?
Oh, yeah, I think it might have been because we see that for 1 kill, Team Envy actually loses 3 of their members. Mutu, he already smelt it. He knows that somebody's in the back line. He knows that somebody was going all the way around. Rubu's now next on his menu. The assert dominates, and he catches it. Mutu goes down. Such a sad, sad situation to be in.
Nice turnaround there. That's really what Envy needed. I think Rubu has been kind of the top performer so far. Trying to read the ice block, unfortunately, will be absorbed. It's a big 800 damage shoulder bash. Lazy stunned out, but largely unharmed.
Seismic crash comes through, and we hear it. We heard the evil mojo, but he dies. And now he lost the ult. No one to capitalize. Lazy finds 2 kills. The rest of Envy being forced to backpedal here. The percentage is slowly going up, though, 63% to 60%. But it just seems like there's not going to be enough contesting going on right now. Navi's in the driver's seat right now.
This is a war. We're passing 7 minutes on the game clock before the second payload has even been captured. We've had sub 10-minute games today already. Na'Vi will grab the second payload of this game. Jaguar Falls, Bright Marsh, very similar styles of map. So you have to imagine Na'Vi are in some type of rhythm with this 3 DPS composition on a very flat map with the shorter lines of sight. They're looking tuned up.
Yeah, here we go. Mutu's already in the back line. They already picked up 1. Rock Monkey's gone. Nice Void Grip, but no one to capitalize. Now we see that 3 are up on the side of blue. The rest of Na'Vi are pushing in slowly but surely. Give Spunky a little wave while he's there on the payload. But they are applying this pressure into their base. He does find a kill on the Tolki. 11 seconds down that Anar is. With Rubu being at half health, slowly recovering, it's like they're going to have to fight back really hard for this.
145 on the clock. Ultimate's starting to be available for Na'Vi if they want to use these to punch this payload home. Lazy's way out in front of the offense so far, trying to make some space. Phoenix finds the opening frag, and that could be what sets up Na'Vi for conversion.
Nice kill coming out from Phoenix, just as you said, Nick. And now we're seeing the rest of Envy trying to scramble to get themselves together. 2 ultimates are up. Mutu does find the kill onto Tolki, though. He wants to go after Rubu. He's all the way in the back line trying to kill Spunky, but he can't get it. The rest of them do kill Na'Vi, though. Team Envy, the same situation that just happened. A triple Rock Monkey. I can't. Come on, man.
Chill out, bruh.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, I'm not even going to say anything about that. Rock Monkey, you're doing your thing, dude.
You've done it enough.
Yeah, you've done it. You've done it enough. I can't really say much about that at this point either.
We are now actively bored of Rock Monkey triples in this house. We require more from your audience.
Correct. 50 seconds left on the clock. And now we see that was an awful British impression.
I didn't think so, actually. That was pretty good.
We're seeing that there's only 40 seconds left on the clock. 2 points on the side of Na'Vi, 1 on the side of Envy. The time is slowly ticking. Creatives is low. Rest of Na'Vi gonna have to try and find a way in, but now Envy's able to fight, and they're looking alive. 5 ultimates up for them.
30 seconds. Ultimates on both sides. Who needs to pop what, though? That's the question. Usually the offense will set the pace. Who's spending what? Envy has more to answer with. Nothing has been used just yet. Big shots from Rock in the back line. You got to capitalize on that.
Nice precision coming out. The question is also, not only the question is who decides to use what, but if they're even going to use it. They do find the kill on the Lazy. Mutu finds a kill on the Random Noob, trading 1 for 1 there, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to be able to fight back. They're all still pretty scattered, looking for precision. And for speaking of precision, sniping a double kill from Rock Monkey. He's looking for a third. Don't get a triple, please.
Not
Please.
again.
Not again. Okay, thank God. Defended successfully on Team Envy. 2-2 score.
Well done. And they hold on to all their ultimates as well. Na'Vi, like we said, they're the offense. Offense usually sets the pace. They didn't quite see anything that was akin to a go button for them. So they're just going to hold on to everything that they had as well. Rock Monkey playing very well. This is a comfort pick for him. Hyper carry, hit scan style of guy, especially when you're able to hit a presence like that time and time again. You're seeing the loadout still kind of working. The theme of Leon, despite her nerfs, we said this a lot during MSI, but I'm going to say it again because we saw a lot of her. She was really on the upswing in that tournament. As long as you're getting kills, you're still basically going to get your full cooldown of your presence reset every single time. So Leon absolutely has the potential to really snowball a fight, get in there and mix it up, especially when you're getting eliminations as consistently as Rock Monkey has been.
Yeah, he's already in a good spot. He's waiting back there, trying to see what is it he can do. He's trying to get some damage off. Same thing for Mutu. Here comes the Midnight. The clock strikes Midnight. Seismic Crash to try and counter. Mr. Hayes finds the kill on the Spunky. We see and hear the ultimates going off one after the other. Double kill for Rock Monkey. We see 3 come up on the side of Red. The rest of Envy are still alive. And just as I say that, Mr. Hayes ends up going down. Lazy looking to be last on the menu.
Big flank here, but you can hear that bell ringing, ringing. Rock Monkey hits 4 or 5 headshots onto Lazy, and Random Noob cleans it up. Envy back in control of the objective, 60% to 6% lead. A great start to this third round.
The Ice Storm comes through, ends up killing Mr. Hayes. Again, you see how far back Create is? I was just about to mention that, and the camera switched right to a perfect timing. Because he's all the way in the back line. He is applying the damage. He is dropping the Ice Storm.
Support.
He did kill Mr. Hayes. So now they're having to be forced off of the point to try and stop this Eevee. No one else is there. We see the Dome Shield drop through. He manages to kill Toki. Now Mutu and Lazy are holding this point. And 63% already on the point for them.
Yeah.
Now it's steadily climbing, all because of that nice Eevee positioning.
Na'Vi bringing it back. Big heal from Spunky. He's going to try and hold this spot down as long as he can, but flying Hawaiian, they come in with a fury, but Envy run into a damn brick wall. They get nothing out of their ultimates. Rock Monkey pulls 1 more, 2 more down with him. Did he actually get both with that Enlightenment?
He got one of them. The other one he just sniped with a precision shot, I think, but he got the Enlightenment just deleted. Thanos snapped him right out of existence. And now we see that Na'Vi end up getting the point. Rock Monkey.
Even when he loses, he wins.
Yeah, right. That's what I was about to say. I was just about to say that. Just nicely done from Team Envy. These games are really close. The rounds 3-2. Still looking pretty good for them, though.
3-2 is the score line. Kanga and Renegade starting to arrive in the building, just kind of noticing that in my peripheral vision. We've still got 1 more set for you today, guys. Don't go anywhere after this one. This one's far from over. It's been a long day. It's probably going to be one of the longer days of this phase. Really good matchups. A triple header today, a triple header tomorrow. Lots of Paladins Premier League content coming at you. Nice shoulder bash attempt there, Creatives. Gets out of dodge. 2 quick ones to Mr. Hayes. Will take him out, but he loses his life for it.
He does. It is a one-on-one trade. Both teammates are currently respawning. Na'Vi has a longer way to go than Envy does, so Mr. Hayes will be back on the point right when he needs to be. 2 ultimates online. The Seismic Crash comes through. That might be what they end up using to kill Lazy. You see that 2 ultimates are online for Na'Vi, and theirs are steadily building as well. Nothing too crazy yet, though. The good precisions from Rock Monkey, I wasn't even going to mention it because he's already been hitting them. Like, good precisions, good enlightenments. Through time and space, really good, too. I mean, it's really up. It's up in the air right now for who can really close this out.
Yeah, rock solid stuff. 1 minute on the clock. Na'Vi trying to get this one off the ground, but just kind of struggling. Speaking of running into a rock wall, Inara gets taken down. Lazy will get the kill, but kindly traded out very few seconds afterward. 57 seconds left on the clock now. Envy are just putting the foot down and not letting this offense get out. As you can see, when there's no offense to contest the payload, that little arrow is going to start to point backwards, and the payload will slowly lose progress. So if you're not winning, you're actually losing.
Yeah, it's a good point. Good point to be made there. And extremely, and even better situation to sort of be in when you're having this control as Envy. They are pushing, 30 seconds left on the clock. Payload was moving back a little bit like you had just mentioned. You just explained that. Mr. Hayes ended up picking it off a triple kill. I saw it in the feed there. Rock Monkey not the only one being able to get it. We see that 3 ultimates are online for Na'Vi. The Scout's not really going to be used, I don't think, but we see that the Void Grip came through. Nice wormhole, and the ultimates are still steadily building for both teams. 10 seconds left. Looking pretty good.
This is it. This is the boiling point. Somebody's going to die here, whether it's an offensive member or a defensive member. That's probably going to decide this round. Into the ice block. Nice heal. That's the only thing I was going to say. He has not made it out of many of these situations. He got the heal and just made it out sheer raw HP, bailing him out. Nice job from Spunky to keep him standing.
I heard 3 ultimates come out all at the same time. 4, 5. All 5 of them are gone. We see that they managed to kill 4 individuals on Team Envy. Rubu wants to fight, asserts the dominance into the back line, or really just onto the payload for Rubu. He's trying to live as long as he can, tries to make sure he can actually get some of this damage off, but it's not enough. Mutu finds the final kill, and they're going to be trying to push us in to close this out.
Oh, absolute maximum value there.
Man.
Flying Hawaiian, the evil
Oh,
Mojo's
nice,
there. Team Envy
man.
defends successfully. Thank you, Rubu. The full 8-second duration of assert dominance, absolute maximum value there from that defensive ultimate. Na'Vi spent everything for that and failed.
Nice. And one thing it is that also goes, like, I feel like should also be mentioned is that Pip, like, as soon as that assert dominance went down, as soon as he came out, you saw him pressuring that back line. It forced both of them off of the point.
He just comes flying in
all over
from
the
off
horizon.
screen.
You see him coming in hot. And he manages, and here's the triple kill I was just talking about on Mr. Hayes. We see that he ends up finding 2. There will be the 3rd. Gets a little spray off.
Yes,
Get wrecked.
sir. Yes, sir. Got to let him know.
Yeah, gotta let him know. 3-3 currently for both
He might be
teams.
bottom damage, but you know what? That's just high efficiency.
Yeah.
Literally, though.
Right.
10 killing blows with just 29,000 damage. Mr. Hayes, he's getting it done with no bullets wasted.
Not at all, sir. We see him already holding up in the back line. Him and Random Noob are currently in the back trying to make sure they hold that flank. Meanwhile, Rock Monkey and Rubu do the same thing we saw them do last time. They're pushing up all the way in the back, but the positioning is different from Team Envy. They don't want to lose anybody yet, and now we're seeing Rubu and the 2 of them, just like it was I just said, are moving in the back line, trying to see if they can get a kill on Na'Vi.
Well, not a lot to
my
work with
goodness.
here. Team Envy have just the Enlightenment. They're trying to hunt down creatives. This did not go well for Team Envy last time, and it's hopefully not the same dance again. They already lose 1, but it looks like they cut their losses there.
Yeah, they end up trading 1 for 1, actually. Baby goes down, but so does Pip, so does Random Noob. And they are trying to find some damage. The Enlightenment does come through. Doesn't really find anybody because we see he didn't even get a kill, 0%. Rubu currently trying to build stuff up. He is really low. The fight is here, 69% on the point for Na'Vi. Here comes that midnight again. It's time to go to bed. The Inflame comes through. He does find a kill onto Random Noob. Man,
He just doesn't miss when it matters
Yeah,
most.
that's what I'm saying.
The daggers are connecting time and time again in these critical moments. Na'Vi 3-3 up 87 to 12% at the moment. Creatives finds 2 more, and that probably just seals the deal. The cherry on top. I mean, what else can you ask for there? Mutu comes up clutch in a big situation. Creatives finds 2 more. Phoenix even throws 1 in. Very impressed with Mutu's Mave. Again, that's really the storyline for me so far today.
Nice job coming out from both teams. We're seeing these games constantly come out to 3-3. Very well done on both sides, but still Na'Vi being able to cash out on the second game. The games can be as close as they want to, but if you're not catching those wins, I mean, what does it matter?
That's what's tough. These are both very, very close. Rock Monkey's had phenomenal games. This is probably one of the few situations I would actually give MVP to somebody on the losing team. I think Rubu was still, even though Envy lost, not just because of that really, really obvious MVP moment when he gets the full assert dominance off and saves that round for his team, but so many other times, so many other big flanks, big moments, big space creations, big trades, so much from Rubu in that game. I think he's definitely one of the guys they want to play off in these next couple.
For sure. There are so many, not necessarily MVP players, but so many just good players. Rubu being one of them, just as you mentioned, Nick, and a few others, but don't go yet. The score is currently 2-0 in favor of Na'Vi. We still got 2 more games to go. Let's see if Na'Vi can close this out with a 4-0, if Envy can make this comeback.
The Paladins Premier League is brought to you by Evil Mojo, developers of Paladins.
That was nowhere close to who I was saying Tenor or FRC got it. Chronix, I was way off. Were you guessing Chronix? You certainly weren't.
Yes, absolutely. I was totally guessing Chronix.
You was totally guessing Chronix.
I said Tenor out loud first.
You did.
I'll be honest.
You got my mind in the wrong place. Na'Vi, though, same composition, same outcome. Actually, same scoreline as well, 4-3 to round that one out. Now they're up 2-0 in this set. What a Envy need to change to deal with this triple DPS? Na'Vi are just going to keep picking it.
That's, I think, the biggest question, because they take the same path to get there, and I'm just going to say Na'Vi are playing the Na'Vi style, right, where it's just like, cool, we may or may not be winning these initial fights, but then look at the objective time. 166 there for Lazy, 195 there for Spunky. Na'Vi, or I should say Envy, don't really have anyone. But Rock Monkey's 29.
I'm so sad.
The slash lines are for Envy. The kills, the fights, they're going in favor of Envy. It's just the fact that Lazy's playing from the point and no one knows what to do with him.
One side point, I'm sad if I'm Rock Monkey. I go 28-19. I would hope that I end up winning that game. Honestly, very similar slash lines to what we saw in game number 1, where like one of the 3 DPSs has kind of a bad slash line. But I think you said it very well in that, you know, the triple DPS is where you look. They all had six-digit damage. But being a solo tank in a triple DPS composition puts you in a bit of an awkward spot. And Lazy, still 103,000 damage, plays that role to a T.
So here's the fun fact, or the fun part.
Okay.
If you want to beat their triple DPS, yep, ban Barrick or Inara and you grab the other, right? Sure. That beats it. That stops them from doing that. And then they're just going to go some different strategy on you that's going to roll over that, whatever you decide to run. Like, it's one of those things that it's a pick your poison, and unfortunately, I don't think any of the poison's going to taste good. It's poison. It's going to kill you either way. So at the end of the day, Lazy playing the way he does, like on Barrick, you can give him an R. He's going to do the same damn thing. You can give him any frontline. He's going to do the same thing because he just plays at such an elevated level as a frontline player. And there's ways to pick and ban around the strategy Na'Vi has incorporated twice in a row. I think you have to change the maps up. I think you need to change the style of map up more specifically. You need something like an Ice Mines, like an Ascension Peak, like a Timbermill, like a Warder's Gate, like these more fringe, very different, not flat point fights that will come through. And that can at least lean things a little more in your house.
Well, Lazy's kind of that standard that we set for a lot of the frontliners in this league. Like, sit on the point, but also be able to do damage is not an easy thing. And getting the amount of kills that he did, 100,000+ damage, not an easy thing to do as we head down to Shattered Desert. So now the big question of the hour is, I levied it to you, it's how to Envy respond. Obviously, Na'Vi have shown, if you're going to give us the same exact lineup, we'll take it. We'll absolutely take it. Getting the Eevee off the board at least changes what Na'Vi have to pick with one of their picks. But Shattered Desert's a map that can be triple DPS if you want it to be.
And honestly, I like the way Envy go about it, because now that's going to be part 2 of that composition that works. So they've taken away 40% of what has been successful for Na'Vi so far.
Good math.
And it's just really, really solid to be able to say, we know Eevee's really solid on this map. Out of the last 2 maps you've played of the 3 DPS, Eevee and Maeve are the top 2.
Right.
Get rid of one, pick the other. Same concept as the front lines, but you do it to the flanks. You make sure that it's a little more uncomfortable for the rest of Na'Vi other than Lazy. But the problem is it's still Na'Vi. They don't have to play triple DPS.
That's true,
That's
right.
bad if they're
not
going
just
for
good at
triple
that, right.
DPS. Now, if they wanted to, like, that could have been Ashe Barrick, and then they could have just been like, cool, now we have the double. But now you're still questioning as Envy, is this a solo tank Ashe? Like, are they going to do that for Lazy? Like, you never know.
It's true. Is this the first time that Genos is available? I believe he was banned out in both of the last 2 games, at least one of the last 2. Maybe.
He was banned in the first
banned
game,
in the first
but
one,
he
picked
was
in the last
available.
one. That's correct.
Yeah,
That's correct. So maybe coming into play here definitely bolsters the triple DPS composition. Envy could be building one of their own here in theory. You get Maeve and Barrick, the makings of what Na'Vi were building on the opposite side. Cassie's still going to the yellow side in this case. Bit of a double whammy, as we previously said. Not only is Rock Monkey very good at the Cassie, just make sure to take that away, and Mutu is very good on the Cassie as well.
That's the thing, is that Cassie, again, it's solid for Phoenix, and I think part of the reason, like, in my mind,
right.
he's the one that you prioritize a pick for if you're going triple DPS. doesn't have to be for him. That's his creatives can play it just as well. Mutu can play it just as well. Like, Cassie's one of those picks that everyone on that team, like, I'd be surprised, like, Spunky should probably even be able to play that Cassie. Might not be anywhere near the level of the others, but he could still play it. At this level of play, it would definitely be a little bit more noticeable, but you're looking at this being probably one of the biggest flexes up there. The same thing goes with the Ashe. Lazy can play that solo if he really wants to, and on a map like this, it could work out, but you can also go something super aggressive, and that's why I like this Ashe Con a lot.
And you bring up Phoenix playing Cassie. I remember when Mike was filling in for Na'Vi, Phoenix flexed to that DPS role. They obviously put Mike on the Furia. And Phoenix played the Cassie a lot of those games and made it look very good. He was honestly the saving grace for Na'Vi in a bunch of those games. Does not look like they're going to do anything too cheeky on the Na'Vi side. They still, in theory, could go triple tank, at least have the makings of a normal composition. But over on the opposite side, Envy now have to reveal just a little bit more. Could go triple DPS. Maybe want to take away the Inara from the opposite side. They're not likely going to pick triple DP or triple tank, excuse me. But it's still in the wheelhouse.
I mean, if you were ever going to flex to triple DPS, this is the time to do it, right? Maeve goes really well with Genos. Barret goes really well with Genos. I can't think of anyone who really goes poorly with Genos other than Inara. And now you can grab Lex. And Ruckus is technically a front line, but he is the bruiser. He is the, I'm going to take quite a few hits, and I'm going to hit you just as hard back. He is going to be in that middle ground. And with Rubu playing him, I mean, we've seen this guy get quadra kills, usually on Bright Marsh is the map that comes to my mind, but this is another map he can work on just as well.
It's like 200 paper cuts coming from Ruckus. That's all he does is he shoots little paper cuts at you, and over time, that all adds up. Buck didn't expect to see that one. So technically a triple 2 tank healer, 2 damage for Na'Vi, but Buck, Goremizer.
Yeah,
Buck
of all the flanks that I thought I was going to see today, Buck was not actually on that list. No. I've seen more Buck this phase, this split, than I have seen Andro, even though he's the one who technically got buffed.
All right, well, Buck, Lex. Lex is honestly less surprising than Buck, and I don't think that's something.
What world do we live in?
What world are we in where Lex is the obvious pick and Buck is maybe a little bit different? How do you feel? Do you think the Buck works?
I think it does. I feel like there are other maps that come to my mind, like Timbermill and Serpent Beach are a little stronger for him to me than Shattered Desert, but this is one that can make it work. I'm interested to see what Na'Vi do with it.
Well, it's time to find out if Buck is worth the buck that they pay for him. 10th pick in this draft, Game 3 about to get underway. Send it down to your casters to get it started.
Thanks for sending this down to us, Dave. I was trying to find a joke about Buck that, like...
You know, Dave he's in the ballpark of the right joke there. That definitely wasn't it, though. He's in the ballpark. He is in the vicinity. He's got his metal detector out. He's looking for the good there, and we have yet to find it.
Yeah, well, keep on searching, Dave. We'll be with you. We'll keep you in our prayers. Currently, we have a match on Shattered Desert. Score is up 2-0 on the side of Not As Vincere. Shattered Desert. Once again, we were watching. Buck is being picked. What's going on here, Nick? What's this big brain
Let me
play?
see talents one more time. I want to make sure Mutu actually left base. Okay, it is going to be Ensnare Buck. This is what I wanted to see. Bonus damage, a lot more bonus damage. Whoever you manage to hit your net shot onto.
Here we go.
You know, you've seen a couple of different talents. He's had Bounce House has been his viable talent. We've had Bulk Up be his viable talent. We've had Ensnare for a short time. Buck has literally seen professional play in every level, but he's missing the net shots. That's critical. Mutu cannot afford to miss any of these net shots.
He does find a kill, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Nice healing, just enough to keep him alive so creatives can pick up the kill. Onto a random noob. Rock Monkey doesn't find it, though. He's so close. Void Grip. Phoenix goes down as well. Currently, 2 members of Not As Vincere are down, and he's looking really good. And you mentioned it perfectly. He was jumping. He was using those leaps, but he was not getting the net shot or the kills he needed on Buck.
Frankly, got the one, didn't get quite as much value as he possibly could have squeezed out of that dive. Overall, I think it's Rock Monkey who sort of salvages that for Team Envy, managing to get a couple of big dinks onto Na'Vi. Lazy takes down Rubu, though. Rubu's the big question mark. He was such an impact on Jaguar Falls. Here on Ruckus, one of the last picks for Team Envy, A lot of good kind of like counterplays into it. I think Cassie can really have her way with a Ruckus. I really don't know how Rubu's going to be able to find value. I don't know who he's diving onto. I think a lot of these Na'Vi characters have a lot of good matchups into Ruckus. He's not going to be able to just get on you like a Tyra Leon and blow you up.
Phoenix ends up going down as well, and Rubu just caught in the back. He does get hit by the net shot. Big damage coming out from Creatives. And on top of the Buck, it's just a lot for him to deal with. He does get shattered, just as you were mentioning, Nick. There's a lot for him to handle. Nice disengage coming out from Cassie. He does find some damage on the Rock Monkey, though. Doesn't go down. This is the second time I think we've seen him live like an edge of his life. And now we see the kills coming up on the side of blue. Now Envy's being able to fight back. Now they're getting what they need to keep pushing this payload forward.
It's only the Luminary source of damage amp, but when he's hitting these headshots, I mean, Rock Monkey is just crushing people. 1,000 damage plus for sure. He's got his mark on Khan right now as well, which will definitely help him. Let's take a look at the loadout, actually, see what some of these Lexes are running. Typically, you'll see a decent myriad of stuff, but a lot of it revolves around movement speed. You can see Warrants out. After the slide ends, you're getting a ton of movement speed, a little bit of health. This is kind of like a safe style of loadout. You can see some lifesteal against your marked targets. Right now, his mark is on Khan. You can see that, so he will have vision of his Khan through the walls. He will also get additional credits based on getting the killing below, according to the streak. The longer the streak your target is on when you kill them, the more credits you get when they die.
Phoenix finds the kill onto Rock Monkey, though. Looks like he's not going to be able to cash out any bounty yet. Nice through time and space. I was just about to mention that. Doesn't even need to be mentioned, though. We all saw it happen. Nice awareness from Mr. Hayes. The Dread Serpent comes out as well. O after O are flying through, but we're seeing most of the kills come up on the side of Team Envy. They're going to be able to keep pushing his payload as much as they want to.
1 minute on the clock. It's going to start to roll backwards if no offensive members can get on it here pretty soon. The Law is ready. How the Law? I guess I might as well explain Lex Ultimate because we don't see it very often.
Right.
You'll kind of see that mark. When that little mark with the wings, there's 2 marks involved with Lex. You can see the rounded one in above his Discovery emblem there. That is just who he has vision on, but when you start to see those wings start to branch out from above the player nameplate, that means they are in execute threshold. Everyone who is in execute threshold under about 40% HP or so, when that channel goes off, they just die instantaneously. If they're not below the threshold, they will still take the damage, they will still get slowed, and shields get destroyed, but he doesn't end up using it in this fight.
Nice damage just overall coming out from Lex. You do mention it. He doesn't end up using that. Doesn't really see a need to. The rest of Team Envy were really just filing in one after the other, just picking up these kills, able to push it in, able to finish that round off. Nice job on their part.
Right, lot to do, lots of kind of like notes to analyze there after the first round, because we're seeing not only a bunch of new characters come into the meta today with the Lex and the Willow, now we're seeing a Buck come through. Buck has been a mainstay of a couple of different metas. Never quite so with this Ensnare talent, and I'm not going to say after one game, one sighting of Buck that this is a meta pick, this is a meta talent or something like that. This is a guy that's just played a lot of Buck in the past. Right now, it's sitting at 1-4. It's something he probably just kind of went out on a limb with. We'll see if he can turn it around, but Mutu's Buck has left a little bit to be desired, I would say.
Mr. Hayes, he does end up putting on the Luminary buff onto one of the individuals on his team. Not quite able to see, but he does end up using the ultimate, misses it. The Hexfire is coming through. They're trying to at least get them off of this point, trying to pressure as best they can. They kill Mr. Hayes. They trade out Mutu for it, though, but that's going to be a pretty big loss on the side of Team Envy.
Swinging for the fences here. Rock Monkey knocked up into the air. Lex can't slide when he's in the midair like that. He needs to hit the ground to be able to slide across the way. Phoenix lands down with the Assert Dominance, finds one. Creatives finds the second. Na'Vi taking over.
Taking over. They are 50% on the not on the payload, onto the point. They have the fast cap active as well. They're going to look around and try and make sure they can cash this out. It's going to be able to net them the point more than likely. But still, they've got quite a little bit of a climb. They've got to push this payload in finally to make sure they actually get what they need to. The through time and space doesn't find anybody, and that's exactly what Mutu was waiting for, because now he's jumping. He does find the shot. Not going to be enough, and he can't kill Mr. Hayes. Rock Monkey falling back directly onto Mutu. They do find the kill. Find 2, actually, on a Na'Vi, and now they're going to be able to fight back off from that one engage.
The help was definitely there. You could see how quickly Team Envy responded to come help out their support. They bail him out. He stays alive, and Mutu's actually the one who ends up going down. Marked shots on the Lazy, providing some lifesteal to Rock Monkey, as well as a ton of damage coming out of this Luminary damage amp, hitting so hard at base. and throwing any amount of damage amp on top of that, you're starting to see the real value of what this Lex can provide. Bucks Wild is coming out. He's going to land tons and tons of shots, manages to get one, but does, again, go down.
Yeah, that is a one-for-one trade. We're seeing a lot of these here between these two teams. Now here comes the ultimate coming out from Lex. He finds it. He finds one on Mutu, finds one on Phoenix. Nice job on his behalf. Rock Monkey doing extremely well on this Lex, and now we see the rest of Envy just tearing him up. They're pushing him all the way into base, and now here comes the aggression.
Now, I want to explain why that was such a good execute, because when you really think about it, getting a damage dealer or 2 damage dealers down to execute threshold, yes, you would kill them, but in total, it's doing roughly the same percentage of their HP. Whether it's 600 damage is like the first third of their health instead of executing them for the last third of their health. So what Rock Monkey does so well there, he executes the frontliner, gets the maximum value out of that ultimate in actually executing Ashe, but also simultaneously hits 2 damage dealers for about as much damage as he would have done anyway. Also applies that slow onto them, so not only is he killing a frontliner, but he's heavily damaging and slowing 2 other members of Na'Vi, allowing his team to kind of collapse after the fact and clean up the rest of the team fight.
Such good presence of mind from Rock Monkey. Thank you so much for explaining that, Nick, because it's actually really important that we understand why this is so pivotal. And now we see that the point is currently 2-1 like it was that we had already known. 3 ultimates up on the side of Na'Vi, 2 ultimates up on the side of Envy, with Lexus slowly building back up. We see him already in the back. In the flank, the rest of Na'Vi try to fall back. They know that he's back there, but nice headshot. Erased from existence. And now we see that Lazy might be the next one, along with Creatives. They're stuck in a bad spot. Say goodbye to Creatives as well. Lazy following up, and that would be a defending successfully on the side of Envy.
Once more on the headshot right during the slow-mo as well. Rock Monkey gets to a phenomenal angle and just picks off the fish in the barrel. Na'Vi had nowhere to really retreat to. That can happen on Shattered Desert, though. It's really so open. You get to your little spots, your little nooks, your little crannies, anywhere you can find a fight out of. But once you're there, you know, the next safe haven isn't really around the corner. You got to kind of walk down memory lane, unfortunately.
Right.
That's all that Na'Vi are, a memory, as they were turned into dust by Rock Monkey in that final fight.
Nice damage. We're seeing the double kill here come out on the side of Lazy. Very, very well done, man. I mean, you're like hitting all these analysis marks. Big brain Nick, Galaxy brain Nick coming out here, which, I mean, who else would expect anything else? This is so important for Na'Vi, or at least Envy, really, to come back to try and make sure they can actually cap this point, because if they do, that's their first point on the board for their first map, Game 3.
Ton of resilience coming online towards the latter half of this game. Team Envy, very similar damage numbers, very similar KDs. Random Noob gets the 1v1 onto Mutu. Rock Monkey's going to be tossed into the desert, never to be talked about again.
There we go. Mr. Hayes comes out once again with the through time and space. Doesn't find anybody. He manages to use the overpower right before Lex uses his. The quicker draw, it turns out to be Khan. And now we see that 2 individuals are down on the side of Envy. Well, really 3. One of them's currently respawning, but this fight's going either way. Nobody's really capping the point. They're just they're really just trying to get this momentum.
Nobody was really on the objective at all. Na'Vi finally getting back there, and they do have the comeback mechanic, so they will be capturing a little bit faster. As you can see, blistering pace up north of 60% already before I even have time to get the sentence out.
Yeah, Mutu already being forced back a little bit. Envy is coming back, but 93% on the point. Fast Cap still active. They kill Toki right before he can get the overtime. They do see that the Hexafire comes out. Rubu has to cancel it, move back, but Buck Wild's coming true. The Buckshot's finding its way into Rubu. Next going to be finding his way into Random Noob. Nice job coming out from Na'Vi. 3 down, and now the payload's pushing.
We haven't really had a chance to look at this loadout yet for Buck. Running the Ensnare style requires a couple of key cards here, so we'll go ahead and get that on your screen for you as soon as possible. And part of what Mutu does so well there is he's just such a mechanical beast on all the characters he plays. So like we were talking about, big one here, reducing your cooldowns by 75% when you get a kill. You notice how he's either kind of killing nobody or 3 people.
Right.
That's a big part of it, right? Once he gets those kills, and it has to be a kill, cannot be an elimination. Mutu has to be the final blow, landing in the kill feed. He gets 1 of those, he gets 2 of those, then he gets 3 of those. That was 3 of his 5, well, now 6 kills in the entire game. Mutu feeling himself a little bit.
Nice net coming out from Mutu. Good damage. 3, actually 4 down. One of them just respawning. The next ones are coming up, but Navi's pushing his payload in, man. They're looking like they're gonna even the score up. The rest of Team Envy has to fight back as hard as they can, but they can't. They can't even make it back before I can even finish my sentence. Na'Vi evens it up 3-3.
Finally, Mutu gets online. He was in a rough spot. Like we said, I think it was 1-4 after the first round, so leaving something to be desired. But once you get rolling, you really get rolling. Pops the Buck Wild, kind of getting these peak shots here. Watch his cooldowns. Gets the kill on Arubu. Leap reduced from a 10-second cooldown to a 2-second cooldown. Net reduced from a 10-second cooldown to a 2-second cooldown. So he is just rocking and rolling through this team fight. All of his cooldowns getting resets. Means he gets more heals, more damage, more mobility. It's just more of a good thing for Buck. It is a very feast or famine loadout, as you can see, though. A really difficult early game for Mutu's Buck. And just like that, he is back to dead even 9-9.
Nice job. I mean, like, I'm trying to find out a way how to see what it is that they can do to try and make this comeback. We see the resiliences. We see the Havens on the side of Lazy. He's trying to, and really Phoenix, they're trying to find a way to really fight back. Envy is in that regard. And, oh, man, nice awareness. He comes just out the woodwork, enough for Na'Vi to net 2 kills.
It's still a 2-for-1, though. Now, Envy don't get nothing for their troubles. They will still kill Mutu. He took a risk there, definitely kind of diving out into view of everyone there, but it did pay off. He did get that kill. Unfortunately, it is going to cost him his life, but it's a 2-for-1 trade, Fawn. I mean, it's worth it.
Right, yeah,
It's
true.
just worth it. It's just math.
Yeah, just good point. I mean, to be fair, 2 is bigger than 1. Nice scout coming out from Creatives. He does end up, they are able to see all of the enemy team now. Envy has to drop the Dome Shield in response. Here comes the Midnight. They're going to want to fight back. This is the last point. If they were going to drop on their ult to be now, and speaking of ult, Assert Dominance comes through.
Axifier comes out as well, takes out Mutu, absolutely fried mid-air.
Man.
Rubu's pouring damage into this Na'Vi backline. Rubu may just be the one to turn this one around. He was absolutely the crux of this team fight. This could be it. This is for Envy's first game on the board.
They're fighting back as hard as they can. Lazy being forced off the point. The Gundam pilot is too much. The mech too strong for Na'Vi to handle. Nice Void Grip. They kill him. And now that would be it. Team Envy gets their first match in the set.
Well done. Envy finally grabbed the game. All of these have been close. All of these really have been a war. But Envy just needed to close one out. Rubu, I think, was a big talking point in Game 2. Rubu is also a big talking point in Game 3. Even if it was almost like Mutu's performance. It was kind of quiet at the start, but really a big moments towards the end. Hexa-firing just to shut Mutu down, get a ton more damage into Lazy, as well as just by maintaining that positioning, he was poking people, like Dave said. It's death by 1,000 cuts onto Navi's backline. He had a really good angle there, and I think that absolutely helped Envy bring out that win.
Yeah, they really clutched it out there towards the end. It was extremely important for them to be able to do that. They hadn't met a single point, not one single game, but now that they have it, looks like the momentum's starting to shift, or at least Envy starting to realize something. And this might be good for Envy to really turn their fate around this PPL split.
Yeah, they had to get this first game on the board, though. That does finally bring them back into this set, and hopefully they can turn this into a full-fledged comeback.
Yeah, hopefully they do. But stay tuned right there to see if they actually manage to do it. We're going to cut right to a quick break. We'll be right back to you guys.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the Paladins Premier League.
Welcome back. I got that one right. Definitely was Spunky. Actually, Gore got it right. It was the hat. Envy finally break the 3-1 curse, though. They go up 3-1. Gets a little scary there towards the end, goes 3-3. But they end up settling it and get their first win in the books.
I think you had said it, but the buck stops here, right? You get to the very end. Yeah, I know, and I'm stealing it. Either way, they make it to the very end. And, I mean, Mutu, I kind of hate it because, again, it's another case of, like, it's a 4-3, and someone on the losing team does really, really well and is really flashy. But this time, at least, like, Rock Monkey can be kind of happy knowing that, like, I performed really well, exceedingly well through 3 games, and we finally got a win.
And it almost seemed like maybe just a little too late. Like, the early game Buck was just not great. I mean, 54k damage, still not all that much. He really started to come alive towards the back end of that. I imagine if he had kept up the same performance, that'd be a lot higher. 107,000 damage, 106,000 damage. Random Noob finally having a game where he breaks 6 digits. 13, 8, and 12 for the Mave. Rock Monkey, though, lots of flashy plays on the Lex this time around. That's a question we raised coming into this set. Who makes the big plays? Do you think Lex maybe fits his way in? He does this time around. Rubu had a pretty good game, though, as well.
And it was actually very similar to what we've seen out of a couple of the last games, specifically like Phoenix, but it's that moment of, like, nothing's going on at the beginning, kind of, like, starts things off okay, but is pretty quiet for a lot of it. And then at the end, it was kind of like, by the way, I'm Rubu again.
Right.
Like, just so you remember, like, that last point fight, he has a lot of control, and it's a lot on the 3-3. Like, as you can see, jumping from literal beginning of the game to finally showing up right here. This is the moment I think that made the big difference. Kind of was the reminder as to why Ruckus does deserve to be picked.
I mean, at 5, 10, and 17, that wouldn't jump out at you and say, oh, Rubu, like, really killed it this game. But it was sort of highlights like this where had a tough time sort of in this downtime, but these big point fights, these big mid fights, wow. He gets good hexafires, good kills, finishes a lot of it off. So despite being 5, 10, and 17, I think Rubu actually played well when it mattered there in that set and helped Envy find their first win.
Yeah, and I honestly think, again, when you're looking at it, he's been a pretty big pillar the last couple of maps anyway. The thing that catches my eye and the thing that I'm wondering if they can keep up is going to be Random Noob. He gets Willow, doesn't quite seal the deal. Then he's playing his Pip, doesn't quite seal the deal. Now he gets Mave, which as of late, Mave and Eevee have been his go-to choices.
Right.
And they win. So if you make him not, like, if you take him off of one of those two, what can he do? Can he still play at that same level? Can he still win? I think that's going to be the question Na'Vi want to look to find the answer to.
Well, it's been 4-3, 4-3, 4-3 across the board here. Maybe 4 more games, all of them 4-3s for us. Splitstone Corey could very well go that way. A map that... There were certain teams, though, maybe it was SSG. I think it might have been SSG who really started to figure out Splitstone Corey and sort of this off-aggressive play style where, you know, normally it's kind of Ice Mines-esque, you know, quick push, defense, or cap defense, so on. But teams are starting to figure out how to make this map a little bit shorter. Na'Vi are going to look to do that. Right back to their map pick here, 3-1, 2-2. Much different score lines, but back to some normalcy in the bands.
And this is where I think things are going to get... Well, I was going to say spicier, and I honestly can't think of a spicier way to start it off than Cassie first pick. But this is the second time they've done it. Last time, again, it's to kind of kick off them going for a triple DPS. And I wouldn't be too surprised if they maybe lean back on that, since it has been what's been successful for them. This is a good map to kind of pull that out on. It depends on who you get as your frontline, who you get as your support. So if Envy can maybe kind of scoop those away earlier and limit the pool as to what's available, maybe make Spunky and Lazy a little more uncomfortable, which is already just a difficult task, they could try to change that strategy.
You're right. I mean, Inara is still available for Lazy, good on Splitstone Corey. Can't think of many maps where Inara isn't, you know, impactful, or at least have the potential to be impactful. I think this is a good 1-2 pick for Envy, though. You get, not only take away the Barrack from Lazy, like I said, still has the Inara, get a good, solid point tank on your team, as well as get the Eevee, not only away from creatives, but in the hands of Random Noob, who can be so impactful on Eevee.
I think the biggest thing is going to be countering this Eevee out, or trying to the best you can. Cassie can already kind of hold her own if Eevee blinks in on her, but you want someone who is truly going to kind of lock her down. Ashe can help track her in the air. And again, it's 1,800 health. You don't really need to even hit that hard. You just need to kind of scare her off and stop her from attacking in the back line. And I mean, like, this map usually to me almost automatically screams like get something that's a sniper, or at least mid-range, long-range. Cassie, Leon, Kinessa, Strix, all things I love. But Kinessa and Strix have been less likely to be played on this map as of late. In fact, for the most part, they don't get picked here anymore. Whereas you do get to see, as you see Cassie, Leon usually gets to come through here because they provide the same range. Leon even better. She provides the hit scan damage as well. And normally Leon is like the go-to anti-EV, anti-flank in general. But I don't know, like, if Envy want to scoop it away, they can. Na'Vi are, again, poised to go triple DPS.
Do you think maybe a Nara could force Lazy onto something like a Fernando, given the way the 4 bans have gone this time around? Furia is going to be the healer, so healer's locked in. It's going to be the Maeve instead. I would imagine that'd be a Rock Monkey Maeve, since that's a little bit closer to direct damage than maybe an Eevee would be. And then, of course, Random Noob, as good on Eevee as he is, you wouldn't want to take him off the Winter Witch this time around. So seemingly having their composition locked in, but now Na'Vi have to consider, are Envy going to go triple DPS?
That's that edge, right? You're literally riding on it, trying to figure out where they're going. And you can kind of see that in Lazy's face, where it's just the conversation. They don't know what conversation they're having. They're trying to figure out where they go. Because if you make the wrong call with something like that, you absolutely fall apart in game.
All right, well, Cassie, Leon, Willow, so back to the triple DPS that's worked out for Na'Vi games 1 and 2. What do Envy choose to do here? They have one blaster, 2 flanks, maybe need a little direct damage here. Tyra could be a good pick. What do you think? Where do you think maybe Envy go? I mean,
Tyra actually is not a bad idea.
They could go Inara. I mean, at the end of the day, it's hard to predict. There's 2 routes they could go. You go traditional with Eevee, Maeve as your 2 flanks, which we've seen people do, or you add another damage dealer. In
Ruckus
this case,
would
looks
work
like Ruckus
as well. And I mean, it goes, I guess, hand in hand with what they had last time. Now you're warmed up on it, though, which I might make a little bit of a difference. But I kind of like this call a little more. They have Eevee, they have Maeve. They don't have any range. They don't have anything to box out the Cassie. They don't have anything to box out the Leon. Yeah, you can dive on them, but what happens if that doesn't work? Who do you fall back on? So I like the Victor coming through. But now I'm running through my head. I don't know which one Rubu is going to be playing. I can't imagine not giving Victor to Rock Monkey.
I guess that's true, unless you want something a little bit more comfortable. I mean, I guess of the options, the closest to a Ruckus would be like a Victor.
He's just stand and shoot.
Right, and I guess, I mean, Maeve, Rock Monkey can play Maeve. Random Nuke can play Eevee. I don't know. It's triple DPS on either side. Who's going to get the better of one another? Well, we have to jump into game and jump down to your casters to find out.
Great way to put it, Dave. Who will get the best of one another? Currently, the score is 2-1, as you guys can see up on the screen. Yeah, I definitely like this too. Yeah, the triple DPS are going back to what we've been seeing them do. That netted them these first 2 wins.
Yeah,
and now we're just gonna have to see what's going on. Let's see if Envy can really do it.
Ooh. Kissing them bombs. Got the new jerseys as well.
What a freeze frame.
Making that bro face. Envy, typically it's actually Tolkien. They're one of the unique teams that their point tank actually is the one that flexes onto DPS when they run 3 DPS. You know, 99% of the other teams, it is actually the off tank that will flex onto that 3rd DPS. In the case of Na'Vi, it's Phoenix that is going to flex onto the Cassie 99% of the time. Here's the talents everybody is running. A little bit of impulse. There's not a ton, especially with these characters. Slugshot's kind of notable. There's not a ton of variance that you're going to see in talent selected with a lot of these characters. We'll have to see who is playing what for Team Envy, as they've only drafted one. It looks like that is Rubu. I think I can barely read. I think that is Rubu on the barracks. That means Tolkien's probably playing the Maeve.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, you're 100% correct. Toki is the one playing the Maeve. They do find the first blood on the side of I believe it was Envy that ended up getting the kill. That ended up killing the Willow. Mutu went down first, and now we're seeing the trades happen one after the other. 30% on the point for Team Envy, though. It's still up in the air. Nothing's too decided yet, obviously, this early on in the game.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, 3 DPS meta was a lot of fun to watch back in the day when Fnatic was basically running it every single game they ever played. And even then, you know, 3 DPS versus 3 DPS was kind of rare still. So this is a real treat to get to watch so many high-octane fraggers in this game. It's really just going to be a bloodbath almost the entire time. Very little fighting around the objective. a lot of 3 DPS from Na'Vi today, which is not core. You know, we did so much practicing, so much teaching to you, and that's the core of their strategy. Was they would just sit on the point. A lot of times they would all be negative, do no damage, but they would still just win the game. And this is very unlike them.
Yeah, it's super different than what it is that I've been watching, that just how I've been paying attention to them. We're seeing Na'Vi move all the way up, though. They are being extremely aggressive. Now they have point control. Even though there's no one that's dead on the side of Team Envy, they want it so bad. They're pushing them all the way back to their base. And Mutu all the way in the back here, taking up the high ground, firing a few shots, not finding any kills, but it will be enough for them to possibly net this point, actually.
This is a really good spot. Creatives, this is a huge angle. Nobody even looking. Double kill. Makes it a triple. And a quadra.
Are you kidding me?
No, Lazy got that one. Dang it. Look at him. He's looking at Lazy saying, God dang it, taking my quadra kill away. Creatives, I mean, what a fight from him. It's that angle. He comes around. Nobody's looking at him. It's easy for the boy.
Yeah, very, very good positioning from him. And you just see him roll around all the way to the back. He finds those kills. It's enough for them to net it. The Ice Storm comes through. Lazy assert dominance in response. Nice job. Now you're stuck in here with me. I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me now. They find a kill on Rubu, and now we see that Team Envy's in the spot. They do kill Phoenix, but the payload's pretty up there. It's past that halfway mark. It's past that bridge. They still have high ground to fight from, but it's still past there.
Kinda. It's like, this is the corner.
Yeah.
This is they got to break this one confidently. This is the hardest part of the Splitstone push. They're basically there, but as you can see, Team Envy is still kind of taking some of the positioning here. They're pretty much, for all intents and purposes, past it. You're right at this point.
Yeah.
That final frag comes through. Creatives comes through.
Wow.
Bops him with the nice blast shot. Kind of in a rough spot here. Rolls himself out to safety. But this fight is far from over, especially with the dome shield just popped.
Yeah, they put that on the payload. They don't want him to push any farther. Now we see Creatives, Lazy. Creatives and Lazy are split off one side. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Creatives, Lazy are split off one side. Spunky's all the way towards their base in the back. He still finds a kill on Mr. Hayes. And Creatives still kills Random Noob. There's still 3 dead on Envy, and even despite that awkward positioning, it's like...
Yeah, that can happen, though. With 3 DPS, there's so many people... Nobody's really standing on the point. Everybody's just moving around, looking for new angles, because, I mean, you saw Creatives. You saw how much a good angle can pay off for you. Nice shots from the back line of Na'Vi. This payload is knocking on death's door for Team Envy. 37 seconds left on the clock. But Envy is starting to fight back.
Shot after shot follows through. They do end up getting a kill. The Enlightenment comes through. Nice dash coming out from Mutu, I believe it was. That was on. No, not Mutu. I apologize. From Willow, just in general. No, it was Mutu. Forget it. Don't even worry about it. Doesn't even matter. The payload's pushing in. 15 seconds left on the clock. They are trying to make sure they can cash this out. Get wrecked, gets pasted onto the ground. 10 seconds left. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it to finish this off, though.
Yeah, getting zoned out pretty effectively, though. Still very, very healthy is Barrack. Shoulder bash is ready to go. Playing the angle. He's going to get there. Lazy does have assert dominance as well, but can't get it off.
Yeah, I think he actually just wanted. He may have.
I'm surprised Overtime didn't actually get proc there.
Right, yeah. I was actually just about to mention that, along with the fact that I think that he maybe just didn't want to give assert dominance until next round. He just wanted to hold on to it. They do have 3 ults online for Envy. 4 ults are online for Na'Vi. So yeah, I mean, the ultimate economy is about the same. We see Victor, that Rock Monkey is pumping out all the damage, though. Like, Leanne's closely behind. Like, Phoenix is not, he's not far off. He could still out-damage him. Yeah, it is, between the 2 of them.
Very, very close race indeed. Lazy getting pretty close to that COT 3 mark. Phoenix getting close as well, as they are leading damage, doing a ton of kills. Lazy will actually diverge. This is not uncommon to see after COT 2. People are going to, whatever it is, whether it's Wrecker, whether it's...
Oh, wait,
really?
Huh?
Really?
Wait, okay.
I disagree.
I do too.
But my opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah, clearly not, because, I mean, Toki's dead now.
He did not look like he was in
that. I did not think he was going to get hit by that. But you know what? Appearances can be deceiving. Through time and space, finds at least 1 kill.
That horse hitbox is thick.
Yeah, extra thick with 3 Cs. He does manage to end up getting killed. Picked off. The assert dominance comes through, but gets sniped right out of the sky. That's not going to be able to find anything there. Nice snipe, though, coming out from Envy.
Nice shots here from Random Noob as well. Great EVs are often defined by their ability to find those long and mid-range shots.
Right.
To set up a target, soften up a target, to then blink on and be their own follow-up. You know, you really, really can get a lot done with Eevee. Up into the sky, though, goes Mutu to try and clear everybody off of the objective. Rock Monkey's looking for him. He wants to get these barrage shots, and they would land on the Willow up there. He's unable to do so, and he gets forced back inside.
The barrage does come through. You did mention it. He's trying to make sure he can at least try and see if he can get the Willow. Doesn't find it. The ultimate is enough, though. They do find a kill on the Phoenix. Assert dominance. He finally gets it off. Lazy gets the assert dominance onto the point. Now Na'Vi is able to cap it because everyone else is too low for them to really try and contest, even with overtime. Random Noob might be able to get it, though. They do end up falling off with a point. I'm not sure exactly what that exchange was, what ended up happening, but it seems like Na'Vi sort of still in control. I'm not really sure.
Lazy's doing a great, I mean, he is
Well,
lived.
yeah.
He is camped, posted up in this Envy backline, fragging out as many of them as he possibly can. Tries to get that jump shot on a Rock Monkey, but Rock had already rotated out. Phoenix trades out 1 for 1. That's going to be worth it if you pop an Enlightenment and get a killing blow.
Oh, they do get the barrage, though. He does find a single kill. The fight is sort of dying down. It's going to come down to really who can cap the point. Now that Lazy's on it, now they did kill 2 individuals. They killed Mr. Hayes, Random Noob. Now that they're gone, we can pretty much cap the point for Nodus Vincere.
Yep, nice job there from Na'Vi. They buttoned that one up. It was kind of close. Could have gone either way.
Yeah.
If you really kind of look back at what was available, what had already been used. That was a very, very long-winded fight. We made a comment about 7 minutes on the clock when the second payload was captured. We got 8 minutes on the clock in this one. And that can happen. If nobody wins a decisive fight in a double, triple DPS game like this, nobody's really standing on the point. Nobody can stand on the point. The only people that can stand on the points really are the supports in a lot of these instances, because when you win a decisive fight, everyone, including your one frontliner that you've drafted, kind of moves out to zone and create space and slow the enemy from taking it back. So that's why you're going to see these drag on a little bit longer than usual.
Yeah, Na'Vi is in a good spot, though. Willow is holding the high ground. She's trying to, like, dismount them along with get some damage off because she knows that they're running triple DPS, so a lot of them are really squishy. They only really have 1 tank, so not all the DPS are going to be in the same spot. He is going for some damage here. Seems like they were in a bad spot for a second. They do find Toki. Was correct on finding that, and they find Random Noob as well. Lazy, double kill. Now the rest of them, now the 2 of them are down. They see no reason to keep following up. Nice job, double kill for both Lazy and for Mutu. The rest of Nodus Vincere cleaning it up, and now we're going to try and see them push it in for their 3rd point on Splitstone.
I mean, call Lazy Tony the Tiger right now because he is playing great. He's doing an awesome job on the point. He's camped out in the MB backline. He gets that double kill there to start that offense and really catalyze something, some type of momentum, and he didn't even use his ultimate for it. So they have that going into this offense, and Na'Vi could be in a spot where they are either converting for this 3-1. It's just a question of do they want to use their ultimates to continue the momentum that they've worked so hard to build.
Man, I heard Lazy's ultimate.
He tried to
the
get
second
it
time. Yeah, I heard this is like the second or
answer
third
our
time.
question.
Yeah, I heard like the second or third time he's jumped up and then just gotten killed immediately. The Envy's still playing extremely good. Like you said, it's where they want to use these ult to cash in. Does the 3rd point really mean that much to them to where they don't really want to tie it up, even though they have ult advantage? It's about to be even, though. 2 ultimates are coming up for Envy.
Yeah, it's kind of tough because Scout is good, but it's not going to win you the team fight immediately. Fae Flight, same thing. It's good. You could get slapped out of the sky immediately, though. Time and Space could whiff. Assert Dominance and Enlightenment are really the only 2 ultimates that are going to get value every single time. Scout is going to get value, but in terms of actually swaying the way this team fight goes, I mean, Assert Dominance is such a huge cooldown for Na'Vi. Lazy has to be very careful about how he uses it and has to get value pretty much every time for it. And it's, again, it's so cool. 3 DPS, you can see him dying a lot trying to get this ultimate off because the time to kill is just different in this type of game. There's just so much more DPS drafted on both sides that everyone's going to be dying much, much quicker.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you see that every single time it is that he jumps up, just exactly like you were saying, Nick. Like, he just get sniped out. Having a Victor, having a Maeve, having an Eevee, all of them, when they actually hit you, especially when you're running the Burst Fire talent on Victor, is going to blow up those individuals. We see the healing, though, Genos. So a lot more than Furia right now.
It's really a really great support to supplement a 3 DPS, healing people through walls from great distances, as well as being able to have up 3 marks at all times, especially in the late game when you get Kronos online. You can crank out a ton of these Astro marks. Nobody on the objective just yet. Team Envy with plenty of ultimates to work with. Na'Vi don't get anything with their time and space. That's what I'm talking about, right? Time and space could and did just miss. And now it's gone forever. It's up to, I think, Phoenix and Lazy with these more impactful ultimates to really get this fight won.
Yeah, the
how
Enflame does
patient
come
they
through.
are.
Yeah, right? I was just about to say that.
Nobody's
along with
done
the
anything.
Enflame. Yeah, even with the Enflame, they're still waiting back. 6% on the point. No one's really capping. Everyone's in such a good spot. No one really wants to fight, but the Assert Dominance comes through along with the Dome Shield. The fight is happening, but no one's really dying. Mutoki was actually the first one in a long time to go down.
Lazy gets a ton of value there for his Assert Dominance. Stays in the flag the entire 8-second duration. Spunky baits out one of these barrage shots to the back line. Mutu
nice.
up over the top. Well done. Well struck. His shot is true. He might get a nice little 2-for-1.
Oh, he does indeed. I thought he was actually about to get a triple with Random Noob soaring through the sky. I thought he was about to get clipped by one of those shots. But speaking of clipped, that should most definitely be clipped. A full team wipe from Na'Vi, already on the point, 51% there, and still steadily climbing. Now, I think we're seeing a trend here. On this map, it's super hard to fight back once a team has momentum.
Especially, look at everybody's just zoning out. Maeve's going to spend Eevee, excuse me, spends all of her cooldowns to get up and over the wall. Did she actually even touch the point? Doesn't really matter because 2 more people from Envy have died already. We will see an overtime, but it is just a formality as everyone from Team Envy is already dead.
Yeah, Mutu finds another double kill. It's going to be able to net them the point. It's just too much. They were able to touch, cause the overtime, but it wasn't enough to exactly catch them that point that they needed to be able to at least be in the lead now. Now Envy has a real bit of a ways to climb. If they don't defend, they're going to be going up 3-1 against Na'Vi.
This is a really cool thing for Na'Vi because for so long, Na'Vi have just been the same team, albeit an extremely good team at what they did. And the only way for Na'Vi to really improve when you reflect on it is like they already did what they did perfect, better than everyone else. The only way for them to get better is to adopt a new style and start to get good at that and just become more versatile as a team. And it looks like that's sort of the steps Na'Vi has taken so far this phase.
Yeah, even with their composition, I mean, they even with triple DPS, they're just sitting back so far, not doing anything. They know when to go in. They're playing so well. And look at the rest of team. Literally, look at Team Envy. Look at them. The Enlightenment comes through. Rock Monkey goes down, and now the rest of them. Rubu does find the kill on the Phoenix, but is it going to be enough though? Because now Rubu goes down. Who's going to be left to contest? Now we're seeing Na'Vi just dump all these ults to the point. They want to win this game.
They probably will too.
Oh my
up in the air.
goodness!
Rock Monkey is not the guy to contest that. Victor and his poor little assault rifle are not able to bring it back against 5 of the best to ever do it. Na'Vi win game 4, go up 3-1. One more game is standing between them and a victory over Envy.
Yeah, they played so well. It was like once they got a pick, it was like the stars aligned, the constellations were there. They saw it. They saw where they needed to go, when they needed to engage, and they just took it. And Na'Vi netted themselves the game. Look at that adorable penguin. How can you hate that?
You simply can't.
You literally can't.
It's a big part of Na'Vi's success, that little penguin man there. The onesie, the stuffed animal, Phoenix himself. I still want to give a lot of credit to Lazy on this Ashe. I think not only is this a step in a new I won't say the right direction, because what they were doing, again, wasn't really wrong. The only way to get better when you're the best at your style is to adopt a new style. So for Lazy to play an Ashe in this 3 DPS composition and be able to get that aggressive and really sort of dominate as an off-tanky sort of role, that's really like a Phoenix type of Ashe performance from him. If he can do that, if he can fill that role and let Phoenix do his thing on the DPS, Na'Vi's going to look very, very scary in the coming weeks.
Oh, for sure. And not only that, but they only have one more game to take to make sure that they come out on top of this set currently in the PPL. But don't leave, guys. We got some trivia coming up for you. A few other break time things. Just stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
SteelSeries, the official peripheral provider of the Paladins Premier League.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Game 4 in the books, and it's Envy's least favorite number. They're down 3-1 here in this set. They need to win 3 straight in order to stop Na'Vi from taking the set, and Na'Vi, they only need one more to do it, Gore.
Yeah.
They tried their hand at triple DPS, Envy did, but it did not pay off.
And it's just that moment where it wasn't necessarily, I don't want to say everything fell flat, because they definitely still had their moments, but you could tell they aren't as practiced in it as it feels like Na'Vi are right now. And I think that's kind of been the biggest thing. Na'Vi flexing around on this triple DPS has been the best thing. I mean, the first 2 maps, they were the exact same compositions, but this time they had to change it around. And, well, I mean, Mutu playing something that I don't think I ever would have guessed to see Mutu play in a Willow.
You're right.
Does incredible.
I mean, and at 70,000 damage, still technically less than Phoenix and Creatives, who were more of that battering ram of damage, trying to tear away that of Envy. And also, I feel like we'd be remiss, Tulki at 4-17. 1 Tulki on the Maeve surprised me, but Tulki not really doing the Maeve justice here in this case. 20-7 for Creatives. Gonna be hard to overcome, especially if you're on something that's maybe a little less creative. Are you surprised to see Rubu playing that solo tank role instead of Tulki in this
I'm
game?
not too surprised to see Rubu taking the solo tank role, but I'm surprised to see them put Tulki on something like a Maeve. I feel like I've seen him make that flex before, so it wasn't outlandish for me. But I don't think I've seen him make that big of a flex. And when you look at it, I mean, like that 4-17 significantly matters when you get Creatives at like 20-7, and when you get Mutu coming in with 70,000 damage, 25,000 less than his counterparts on the team. But I mean, they're Cassie, they're Leon, they hit harder and more often. He's got 15 kills. He's got a 4.3 KDA for this. Like he's blowing them up, literally, with each shot. And I think that was kind of the big play and again, big flex of this game.
And again, I mean, even doing 20 less thousand damage than his damage counterparts in this case, still having such an impactful performance in 3 of Na'Vi's wins, and all 3 of Na'Vi's wins this set so far. They've been playing triple DPS, and it seems like each of these games, one of the 3 guys, the other 2 perform very well, but one of the 3 kind of stands out. And honestly, in a way, I think despite not having the highest amount of damage in this game, Mutu had some high-impact plays, stepped up into that Willow role. We wondered if he would maybe play it. We wondered if Creatives would maybe play it. I think surprising, like you said, seeing Mutu playing the Willow this time around, but certainly did it justice.
And that's, I think, one of the best things you could have. When you're flexing around like that, being able to find someone who, you're the hit scan guy, and here you are playing Willow and making it look not only phenomenal, but again, it's just like those small little buffs to her. It wasn't anything crazy, like a little bit more damage on the outside of the blast radius of every shot, as well as some better mobility changes. But you come to this map and do exactly what you need to if you're Na'Vi. You pick Splitstone Quarry, you win Splitstone Quarry.
And that was the shortest map. Surprisingly, Splitstone is the shortest game we've had up to this point at 4-2, whereas the previous games were all 4-3. Ice Mines is where Envy are going to choose to take us here. Willow, Simsalou played Willow on Ice Mines earlier today. Still certainly a talking point I think you have to look at. Pip as well, maybe coming out into this mix. Does Ice Mines still, I guess, lend itself towards triple DPS? Na'Vi have shown that they want to play triple DPS. Can you make it as effective on Ice Mines?
You can, but you have to be very careful with which DPS, if that makes as much sense. Like, it's not anywhere near as viable as it is on other maps, so you do have to be a little more careful, in my mind, as to which ones you take that step forward with, as well as, again, what's backing it. If you get Torvald, run whatever DPS you want. You get Genos, you can start to flex around a little bit more, and that's kind of been where I think some of the success was. Like, Na'Vi haven't had to have Genos. In fact, they've been able to beat him before, but I think he's playing, or he can play a much bigger role here on Ice Mines. Just look at the last set, right, where it's Cuss getting double kills constantly, 3 kills in a fight, being able to kind of set up his team. I think he's going to be important, maybe not just for the triple DPS, but just in general to whoever can win.
Yep. I think that's an interesting point to bring up as well, is both supports have kind of had a quiet set up to this point. I mean, it's hard to follow up a lot of what we saw from Cuss QD and Bird back and forth in set number 1, but Spunky had a nice snipe with through time and space in the last game, but outside of healing and shot calling, which are important roles in and of themselves, I don't mean to discount that any, but these two supports, we kind of see them making more impact offensive plays in a lot of their games, and that just hasn't so much been the case up to this point. Not necessarily game winning or losing, But just an interesting thread, I think, in my opinion, to follow through this.
Kind of interesting. I mean, you know, with Ashe, Atlas, Makoa, Torvald all banned, Khan is usually, like, he's the one that I got used to seeing as priority. Not today, though. It's been kind of the opposite, or not necessarily the opposite, but, like, he's been up there, just not heavily garnished, I guess, by the teams, or wanted. He hasn't been able to come through as often.
Khan is unwanted.
And, yeah, it was really weird to see him just kind of disappear. Almost as weird as seeing, for the first time this set, Cassie not be in the top 2 picks for Na'Vi.
Yeah, and already showing their hands with a Nara Barrack that they're not going to go
They want
triple DPS, maybe triple
triple
frontline. They
frontline.
could, depending on what's left on the board here. I mean, Fernando kind of. I mean, Ruckus could fit into that mix. Maybe see him on Ice Mines, but now we're looking at a scarcity of frontliners, I guess you could say, with 4 of them being banned out, 3 of them picked up already. You're already forcing Envy maybe into a Ruckus. At that point, you're lacking a true, tried and true, stand-on-the-point front line. If you go Ruckus, you could go Fernando, who's maybe not quite as favored in the current meta. But with Na'Vi going a Nara Barrack, not going the Cassie, as you said, you're already forcing Envy into a bit of an awkward spot.
And that's, I think, where they're having to hover now, because like you said, where do you go? Next point tank really does kind of fall down to Fernando, and actually Envy have been the ones, I would say, I think I've seen run it the most, but he's not been very successful. And on Ice Mines, it's very hit or miss. I like their call, go Cassie Willow, kind of grab the DPS, but we've seen Na'Vi go for, 4 games in a row for the Cassie, grab the one that they've been successful on just on that last map that works on this that we saw out of the Knights, and just kind of keep ourselves comfortable. No support ready here for Envy, and they aren't quite showing whether or not they're planning on going triple DPS or not, so they could still go for like a Genos and another damage champ if they truly want to.
Just gonna have to see what direction. No healers picked up just yet either, as I say it. Damba comes through. Jenna's still on the board for Envy. Tyra is going to add a little bit of that damage amp that you maybe miss if you forego the Genos route. And Tyra, actually, seemingly, it's an interesting point to bring up. A couple games in our first set, but Tyra was like firmly in the meta pre-MSI, honestly a little during MSI, but haven't seen quite as much Tyra as we're maybe used to seeing. Granted, Willow, Lex, Buck, some of those other flex picks have been taking her place. But Na'Vi are going to select the hunting party route this time around to get a little extra damage amp of their own.
I think it's just, yeah, because so much has opened up that Tyra isn't necessarily the go-to.
Sure.
Although I feel like all you need is a little fresh reminder, right? Like, it's always fun, like, when you get to play around with something new. Lex comes in, and it's like, cool, maybe I can two-shot this guy if I hit double headshots. Right. But then you also remember, well, this used to be good, and they didn't really do anything to it. Let's see if it's still good. And, well, lo and behold, Tyra's still really, really solid at what she does, which is burning down tanks.
And Khan and Fernando are going to be the 2 tanks that she has her sights set on this time around. Ying, the healer for Mr. Hayes, Illusory Rift, that sudden burst healing so good for kind of putting that foot on the gas pedal, telling a team when they want to attack. Na'Vi looking to round out their composition. 1 more damage dealer likely for them, unless they choose to do something weird and maybe do a Terminus for old-time triple frontline sake. That's not going to happen, though. Pip, still pretty viable, actually. Creatives wouldn't surprise me to see him maybe flex to something like a Pip. It's going to be the Maeve instead, of course, not picked or banned. Back to more traditional. Double tank, healer, double damage on both sides. The last time that happened, though, Envy took the game.
And this is actually kind of what I would expect out of these two, and that's why when it comes down to it, like, Envy, this was their meta. This is the meta they won Worlds in. You do kind of shake them up a little bit more by making them go for a Fernando instead of being able to grab an Inara or a Barrack.
Yeah.
But I think for Na'Vi, you're still pretty much, like, you're not necessarily in control, but, like, you're back to same old, same old. Nothing fresh, nothing really new that is coming through. All of these champions, save for Willow, were being picked at the very end of the last split, and you're just continuing that with a little bit of an addition in there for Willow.
Well, it's do or die time now for Envy. Na'Vi only need 1 more win. Envy, they have to win 3 straight. Could all start here on Ice Mines. Let's send it down to Stefan and Nick to find out.
Thank you, Dave, for passing the ball off. We're currently in a 1-3 situation. Ice Mines, everybody's favorite map. Everyone loves to see this one, the most pivotal map there is. Isn't that right, Nick?
I would say hear me out.
Okay.
People hated this map at the start, and it became just like this meme map that you went to when you didn't want to lose the game.
Right.
4-0, basically. But because that happens so often to so many different teams over the course of their careers, people are just like, Fernando, by the way, not dressed at all for Ice Mines.
Oh, yeah.
Man's just running around in the tidy whities. But anyway,
Put some clothes on, man.
so many people actually literally because they were getting dragged here all the time, all right, we're literally just gonna learn how to play this map.
Right,
And now
yeah.
everyone knows how to play this map, so you can still see not 4 threes on this map. And frankly, in my personal opinion, I do enjoy Ice Mines. I
Right,
think
yeah.
people are good enough at it now to where they can put a game away on it if it comes to that. And frankly, overall, it's just been an enjoyable evolution of a map for me.
Yeah, because it's like whoever gets the first real kill, whoever gets the first amount of pressure is really just going to have the momentum for what might be the very possible rest of the game, depending on how this goes on Ice Mines. But regardless, Toki is sitting on the point. Not very much percentage. Once again, the first blood does come out on the side of Rock Monkey, though, on Team Envy. He finds a double. Please don't get a triple.
Rock Monkey looking for it. Maybe he's following around Fernando, and this is very nicely played by Tolkien. He's done a phenomenal job just making sure Rock Monkey always has some space to work with. This is what you thank your frontliner for. We got a perfect angle on what Tolkien does and what frontliners are here to do. Yes, Rock Monkey hit the shots, but he's always had a shield put in front of him where he can work with some of the space on this map.
There we go. We do see that they are holding up on this position. Exactly what I was talking about, man. It's like once you get these kills, you really just have the momentum. And now Toki's in a little bit of a bad spot. Rock Monkey does get the kill on Mutu, but they do trade one of their frontliners for it. And as a result, they end up losing one of their frontliners as well. Na'Vi down 2 individuals. It's going to take a while for them to get back to point, especially because they're currently respawning. Na'Vi being forced back a little bit by Team Envy. Nothing too crazy, though. The overpower is coming up, though, right now, along with Willow's ultimate.
Curious to see how ultimates start to affect this game, as well as Team Envy have a double shielding frontline composition. So
Yeah.
the space that Tolkien made is not, it's going to get less and less and less as this game goes on. So if Envy can put this game away quickly, I think they'll be in a just a fine spot. But as those records come online, both Khan and Fernando are going to be their survivability is going to be very heavily affected.
Yeah, they're going to be able to, well, not going to be able to, but they're not going to be able to hold up as much as you'd want to, especially against the Tyra. You can kiss those shields goodbye pretty much for the most part, but the Dread Serpent does come through. Nice wall coming out on this from Inara. They do lock Rubu down. Do keep him a little bit behind the wall. End up killing him. Now the frontliner's gone. Toki's going to be forced to retreat, but look at where the payload is already. Minute 20 on the clock. But if this is the shift for Na'Vi, then we might actually be able to see like a shift. They might actually push them all the way back.
Yeah, pretty good progress made so far early enough, and they don't lose anyone past Rubu. That's the key there. They actually assassinate Spunky out of the backline. Na'Vi have no healing right now. If they survive this Midnight, this might be a push.
Oh yeah, the Midnight rings true. The clock does indeed strike Midnight, but she can't make it out. Tyra gets blown up by those plants. Willow finding a kill. Rock Monkey, Rubu. The rest of them are now looking at Lazy. Sights are owning down. Look, he's stuck against his own wall. He does end up getting picked off, but they do have defender's advantage. What I mean by that is that they're closer to the spawn than Team Envy is, so you know they'll be able to be there a lot faster.
Right, they'll reinforce this fight extremely quickly. Team Envy, if they lose anyone, it's going to be devastating to their chances at pushing this one through. It's so close, but Lazy, frankly, that tiny amount of time that he bought just walling himself off against another wall, basically sandwiching himself, that might have been the difference maker just to get their feet back under them quickly enough for this payload to actually have a chance to go through. 5 strong, Envy just with 1 ultimate, but it is overpower. If they do want to end this game quickly, you might elect to see them pop it.
Yeah, there we go. Toki does drop down. I was about to say 5 seconds left. They're going to have to make a play here, or at least something to try and make sure they can get the last kill. I can see the con right there.
I feel like he's looking for it.
Yeah, I can see it because Lazy immediately put up that wall. He's looking for the overpower. I don't know if he's going to try and use it now, but he's going to have to fall down on the point. He doesn't have the battle shout up, though. Force a little bit off. Rock Monkey does find the kill. Battle shout to make himself immune. I don't think he's going to end up using the overpower, and if he does, it's going to be a little bit late. Snake Bite ends up getting stunned. Rock Monkey finds 2 kills, though. That might be enough for them to actually push this in. Creatives and the rest of them to fight 1-on-1. Nice duel from Rock Monkey. He gets the kill, but defender's advantage might be too much.
Yes.
Envy won't be able to defend. That's 1-1 on either side. Already on Ice Mines. This is looking pretty close.
I mean, I'm glad you brought it up because you see it right there. Na'Vi they reinforce that fight
Right,
so
yeah.
quickly. It was an even, if not positive, trades in favor of Team Envy. RockMonkey's being left very alone this game. He's hitting a lot of these shots. You could see him in that 1v1 dueling back and forth with Creatives on Tyra. He just didn't miss. Every single time you heard the crossbow go off, you saw a chunk of Creatives' health bar start to fade away. 36%. As Envy started to push forward, it wasn't even really like this landslide lead. It was just really solid stuff from RockMonkey and his frontliners in the first round. 9-1 start for the Cassie.
Super, super good on RockMonkey. Like you said, I feel that's a trend for like most of these games. You've been seeing RockMonkey pop off, but his team not really
super good.
Yeah.
Something about these things goes together
perfectly hand in hand.
I'll try and figure it out by the end of the day.
Yeah. I'll be right there with you trying to think about what is so good about just RockMonkey and super good. What about it?
What's the relationship?
Yeah, what's the relationship? What's the correlation here? And I'll tell you what the correlation is. He ends up being dead thanks to Mutu. You see that the rest of them are coming out. The seismic crash comes through. That shows how much that Natus Vincere, a.k.a. Na'Vi, really, really want this point if they're using ults like this. But they're still getting pushed back, though.
Yeah, Envy managed to bring it back in a couple of ways. Na'Vi have people here as well as Midnight. So they have a way to close Envy's eyes for a second so they could actually take new positioning, get in there. They are going to pop the Midnight. Look at Lazy. He's starting to actually cut off the retreat. He doesn't want Envy to be able to run away.
Oh, nice wall coming out from him, though. Stalls out a little bit. The rest of them, they're going to get into position. Na'Vi's going to try and push up. Mutu's trying to take advantage of it so well. He does dodge the commander's grab, and they end up killing RockMonkey.
Oh, no.
Now Natus Vincere, now looking pretty good. The Immortal comes down. Not enough to save Toki, though. Ruby's looking next to the menu, and now he has to fall back along with the rest of Team Envy, the rest of them that are alive. They got to wait for somebody.
Tried to pop that Immortal just to save the life of RockMonkey, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. So much to talk about here, but the fight still rages on. 72% to 72%. Lazy throws up the wall. Can't decide if he wants to drop out of the high ground just yet. Wants to take down this Khan. Pounce would have done it. Mutu's going to lose his life for it.
Random Nuke does find a kill onto Mutu, though. They do trade. Toki, nice
fear.
Dread Serpent coming out from Na'Vi, but it doesn't matter. Look at RockMonkey. Look at the rest of Team Envy. They're killing these guys right now. 99% doesn't even matter because we have the payload now. Nice job on Team Envy. They're pushing them all the way back.
I mean, that was an absolute war. I was ready to break that one down.
Right,
and how Na'Vi did it, how they managed to take that one back. But right like when the night was darkest, Envy managed to find a light and find their way out of it. That's not a Midnight reference there. That's just good play from Team Envy. I mean, there was big things going wrong for Team Envy. The Immortal was popped to try and save RockMonkey. Did not pan out. It was just those later ultimates coming online, specifically the Illusory Rift. Got a lot of healing value there, and I think that's really what helped Envy bring it back. Yeah,
I heard the overpower go off. I don't think he found anybody. He had 30% already right there. He did end up missing because the Dome Shield came out at just the right time for him from getting it. The Midnight is there, though. I don't know if they're going to try and use it now or what they're going to try and do, but there's a fight break. Like, there's skirmishes here and there. And, okay, there you go. The Midnight is there. They do end up using it. But once again, they just sort of back off when they hear that Midnight. They don't want to engage, and now they're waiting for an opportunity. RockMonkey finds a kill while living within an inch of his life of his own. Good job, Envy. They're doing really good right now.
Interesting. Yeah, there's really no primary hit scan threat to deal with this Willow when she gets up into the sky. Creatives can do it if he's close enough. And what you actually saw, he was right on the fence of being too far or too close. And you actually kind of saw him push into danger to get a better angle or a better portion of his fall-off curve against this Willow. If he was any further away, he wouldn't have really had a chance. And then you're just giving Random Noob basically free reign of the team fight there. So it didn't exactly pan out, but I like the thought process behind it from Na'Vi.
Yeah, I do agree. They are still playing this extremely smart. They don't have the momentum. The overpower comes through. He did get it because I do see the percentage went down. He ends up killing Mutu. He tries to fear them in response, can't find it. And now the rest of Team Envy, they're going to be able to push in. But remember, I said it last round, Defender's advantage. Na'Vi is right there to be able to stop it. Question is, will they? Phoenix has to go down. He almost let that come right onto the point.
That's going to be a close one here. This conversion is likely to happen. Mutu manages to assassinate one. Now it's Spunky rotating the last of the Mohicans.
No.
They cannot hold Envy back any longer. It's a 3-1 lead. Envy looking like they want to tie up this set, and they're on their way to doing so.
Yeah, they are definitely playing their hearts out right now. They're playing like they want to win, which is what I like to see. Speaking of wanting to win, look at this replay here from Random Noob. He has taken a few shots, lives so low. They don't find the kill, and he just, the damage he was applying, the cauterizer that she has innately in her kit, just so good for Team Envy because it won them that fight, I would feel like. That first pick just started snowballing.
That's a good point. 12-2 for Random Noob. I want to look at the items, actually, because you mentioned, Dead Zone, and Random Noob has not elected to pick up any cauterize. Sometimes Willows do. They'll pick up a little bit of both. It's a long cooldown. He's going into it late. Right, Dead Zone is one of the longer cooldowns in the game. Willow just has a lot of long cooldowns, but anyway, she, can delete all healing in that zone, but like we said, it's a 15-second cooldown. You effectively have no more cauterize for the next 15 seconds. That's a long time in between being able to actually get a kill onto somebody via anti-heal.
Yeah, it is a lot of time and a lot of advantages they will try to have. Rubu does drop the Immortal, though. They don't find the kill, but Envy certainly does. They do kill Mutu. Rock Monkey finds one of his own. And now it looks like Envy's in control here. They were in control last round, but now even more so. We're seeing them fall back so heavily.
And frankly, it's that Immortal. It's this Fernando.
Yeah.
Tolki's done a phenomenal job, I feel. This is one of Fernando's better maps just because it's so corridor-based. I mean, his shield takes up essentially all of the size of the choke point that you're trying to break through. Random Noob finds the opening kill onto Phoenix. This is not looking good for Na'Vi.
Yeah, it's definitely not. They're still in the back pedal, 51%, not a single touch. These guys have such a long history with each other, and we're definitely seeing that Envy came to play. The Midnight goes out, but not at the right time. Creative still goes down. Dread Serpent to counter it. They want to make sure they can fight. They want to push in, but Mutu is now in control. It actually doesn't even matter. Mutu was never in control. The rest of Team Envy was pushing in, and they managed to net that game. Game 5 goes to them, and now they have 2 points to 3.
Looking pretty amped up here, and Envy are finally back into this set. Only down 1 game, but still it's a critical game because Na'Vi already have 3 in hand. 1 slip up, and Na'Vi are going to walk away with this one. Like you mentioned, these are 2 teams. They go way, way back.
Yeah.
So I'm sure neither of them is going to get rattled really either way this set goes because it has been a very, very close matchup for a long time. These were the 2 teams that were the finalists at the World Championship. Envy managed to squeak that one out in a very weird fashion. It was for the first time ever Na'Vi looked like in those last couple of games of the World Championship that they just didn't know what they wanted to do.
Right.
And obviously they learned from that loss. They're branching out to new styles, new champions, and they're looking good, but they got to close this one out against Envy.
Yeah, they're having so many different picks. We've seen so many different characters today, so many new strategies, teams coming out the woodworks, trying to make sure they can win. But once again, the set's not over yet. The score is 3-2. Na'Vi still is up a point. If they win one more, they get the game. But will Envy be able to make it back? Find out right after this break.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins Premier League.
Thank you guys for sticking around. Envy strike back on Ice Mines, make the set 3-2. Only 2 more games away from completing the semi-reverse sweep. Na'Vi still on set point. Goremizer, there seems to be a thread here where if we're not playing triple DPS, Na'Vi are not winning their games.
Honestly, it comes down to what I was saying like before, where that's where Envy live. That's where their
Sure.
home is, right? That's what they are used to. That's what they won a world championship on, where it's just point tank, off tank, DPS, probably direct damage blaster, and then support. And,
Right.
well, lo and behold, they go that, and they do really well with it.
And Rock Monkey continues his tear through. I think
Jeez.
he's had 100,000 plus damage every game, but Random Noob, 14, 2, and 13. Big game from him as well.
I mean, 14-3, 13 for Rock Monkey, 14-2, 13 for Random Noob, as you just said. It's interesting to see their stats so close. I think the damage was actually pretty close between them as well, probably skewing more towards Cassie's end. But this is just good. And this is one of the things, what I was saying, at the beginning of the set.
Wow.
They live or die by their carries. Rock Monkey earlier was having games out of his mind. He went, 20-7 in one of them, and they didn't win. And then you come into this, when Random Noob is able to have this kind of performance too, that's when things get truly clean for Envy, and that's how they were able to close this one out. I mean, a very, very solid control pretty much throughout the entire duration of it. And it's just these moments, right? Making the call. Where do you go? Which side do you want to kind of press the issue into? Where are you going to fire those shots? Where are you going to force them to run away from, essentially?
This is a map that I think in this new meta where Willow maybe becomes a higher priority pick. Ice Mine specifically is a map I think that caters pretty well to Willow and what she brings to the table. So Random Noob firing on all cylinders in that last game, completing sort of that duo, completing that second link of the dynamic DPS duo there for Envy, and finding themselves win number 2, like I said previously. Still 2 wins away from taking the set. And I think I'd be a little remiss if I didn't mention, not a little, very remiss, 4-1 and 23 is where Mr. Hayes stood at the end of that game. So while the flashy multi-kill damage-dealing plays weren't necessarily there, him being a healer, the consistent, thorough output of healing that Mr. Hayes was able to provide throughout all of those clips, honestly, very important and very impactful to Envy winning that one.
I also think it's important to note that the 2 maps Envy have won were their losers pick maps, right? So
Right.
they lose 2, they pick Shattered Desert, win that one. They lose Splitstone, they win Ice Mines. Now you're back to Navi's zone. This is where they want to go. But Ascension Peak is a little more, I want to say split down the middle, but this is another one that, hey, you want to? You can absolutely run not only triple DPS, but it's very flexible with that triple DPS.
Agreed.
What flanks do you want to run? Who do you want to run them with? Like, everything about it from top to bottom, I think, is open for them. So I think this might be a return to form, but it also might be one of the final knocks they really need to just get rid of Envy here.
And you mentioned sort of the flexibility, the potential for different champions to come back. Na'Vi going Cassie, first pick yet again. Last time it meant they went triple DPS, the last 2 or 3 times, I should say. I do want to sort of cater this conversation. We haven't seen Bomb King at all today. No bans, no picks.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because people have forgotten about it. Honestly, that's sometimes the only reason a champion will disappear is just, well, we've been practicing X, Y, and Z. We haven't really played that much Bomb King, and like maybe he's just quote unquote not meta, right? Where it's like it's not, oh, he's not good. It's just no one's thinking about him, right? When it comes down to it, he's very solid against Maven and Eevee. I actually think I would love to see him. This map might not be one of his best maps.
I thought that was me on camera at a glance. He's got the same.
As he shakes the penguin. If we had a penguin on a bike emote, that would have been perfect. That's the Na'Vi emote in a nutshell. But I would love to see him come through if it was like Bright Marsh, Jack Falls earlier, where he was
King,
just
not
completely
Mike.
missed. Yeah, Bomb King. But I still think he has a lot of potential. I think that's what it's come down to, though, is just on the maps he's good on. Other things have kind of showed up that are doing what he used to do a little bit better, yeah.
Just been overshadowed today. I mean, Lex, obviously Willow, obviously a lot of champions that maybe fill that flex role have just taken priority. Still a fine pick, I think. Not tweaked, really, in this last update. So maybe just some other champions taking priority. It is Cassie Con Genos. So triple DPS could still very much be on the board for Na'Vi. That's how they've secured their 3 wins today. Standard compositions, though, have gone the way of Envy. Although I don't know if you would really be excited about a solo tank Con. I guess you would be, but that's like, it's almost 3.5 DPS within that half kind of off tank. Ruckus, Leon, Maeve, though, round out the next 3 picks here for Envy. That's taking away, I think, a little bit maybe of an ability for Na'Vi to flex.
And again, it's kind of a Envy grabbing what they know is successful for them. Ruckus has always worked for him. Barrack, Maeve, Leon. Like, you just need a support. At this point, I doubt we're going to see Na'Vi grab any of the support. So you've got Ying, you've got Maldamba, you've got the whole world, except for Genos, really, to be able to grab. And so they're perfectly fine. Again, they're just running their standard 2-2-1 composition, whereas Na'Vi are over here going for the triple DPS once again. Cassie, Eevee, Lex going to be running that show. And Lex, in this position, again, a couple of shots on the Maeve, a couple of shots on the Leon, they're gone.
I mean, I'll gladly eat my words. I didn't think they would lean into the con for the solo tank, and they're going to do it. They realize we've gotten all of our wins in triple DPS compositions. Looks a little different with Cassie, Eevee, Lex being the 3. Of course, Con and Genos rounding out the other 2. Maybe putting Mr. Hayes on the Furia is enough to stop that damage onslaught, keep them in this game. Do you think Envy, if they do lock in the Furia, have a composition that can stop the triple DPS from Na'Vi?
I think they do, mainly because of Leon, but it's going to be a very big boxing match between, I'm going to guess, Mutu on Lex and Rock Monkey on that Leon. I think it's going to be who is able to consistently hit more headshots and just who's consistently hitting more overall in those duels. Because whoever wins that one, all of a sudden can apply pressure to the next in line. So your Leon, that's really good to get rid of Eevee. It's really good to help deal with Cassie. But you've got to box out Cassie and Lex. Whereas Maeve, you're looking to go for what, Cassie? She's really your only primary target that you can get, and I would argue feel safe doing so.
You know, the more I think about this con, I guess it does make sense on Ascension Peak. Plenty of places to toss a good overpower. The statues on the point really allow for a little bit of extra cover, maybe a little extra staying power for somebody who's technically not a point tank like a con. So I actually think it does make sense. I think I agree with you here, though, Gore, in that I think Envy have drafted a lineup that can unseat this triple DPS, but as we see time and time again, it just comes down to who executes, and I don't think this game's any different.
I can tell you who executes in this game. It's Lex, because he's got the execute.
That's right. Well, Na'Vi, yet again, 1 game away from taking this set. Envy, only 2 away from turning this one around. Game 6, let's do it.
Thank you so much, Golson. I appreciate the pass.
Okay.
Is that, like, that sounds a little bit better,
We're
right?
out here.
Yeah.
What did they say earlier?
They say you guys were Krez Nick.
Okay. What was there? Okay. That's fair.
I think it was Golson.
Gorson?
Gorson?
What they said something earlier.
That sounds gross. I don't want to call him that.
Gorson.
I don't want to call him that.
Gold Miser?
Gold Miser. Gold Miser. I think that's what it was. That sounds good. Gold Miser.
Can't remember what it was.
Neither could I.
Anyway, nothing's matching just the raw efficiency of Kresnik.
Yeah, true.
It's
very
just-
powerful.
It's just unbeatable.
I don't
for
have a
sure.
matching name yet.
We'll
I'll
get
get
there.
one. Yeah, I'll get one. I'll get one.
there.
No
it's
problem.
a new thing. This is day
Yeah.
1 of this.
True.
You know, Dragon Ball Z Fusion Dance.
Oh, yeah.
Naming scheme happening.
I like it.
Real quick though, excited to see Mutu on the Lex. He played this pick before it was cool. I'm never gonna forget it. Before it was really even viable, he tried to make it work. All that character does is move and shoot. 2 things Mutu does extremely well, arguably better than anyone.
Yeah, we already see that creatives and the rest of Na'Vi though have a little bit to say about that. They already are applying the pressure. We see that the Lex all the way over trying to fight Rubu, trying to get him off of this ruckus. He's just doing a lot of damage, man. He's just like, it's very, very hard for them to actually try and fight back. He's actually kind of 2v1ing them right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
He does scary amounts of damage.
Yeah.
There's 3 people there now. Smells out the support. Doesn't know where anyone else is. Slow going on this Ascension Peak. I don't think anyone's died yet, and ultimates are starting to get above halfway. This could be a very, very slow-paced, methodical approach to this first fight.
Shot after shot coming through on Mutu from the higher ground. He's not really hitting them, but his pressure is enough to where they feel the need to constantly look over, try and kill him, but he just slides away immediately after that. So it's like, he's not getting the kills, but he's applying enough pressure. And Navi's the one in control of the point right now. Look at that health on Random Noob, though.
Yeah.
67?
Very, very, very close to death. Inflame first ultimate. Envy are going to start to make some moves, but Na'Vi have ultimates coming up as well. No first blood yet as we head towards 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. Shot after shot is coming out. Not a point capture yet. 96% onto the point for Na'Vi. Here comes the Midnight. He misses it.
Somebody died!
But Rock Monkey ends up getting the kill, Nick. Your pleas were heard, and he gets a double kill followed up by the Enlightenment. He does end up killing someone. Overpower comes through, yeets Toki right off of that point. Finally, we're seeing some kills. Everyone's just pretty much twiddling their thumbs, just waiting for something to happen. Now look at the percentages.
Big damage there. Nice rotation from Phoenix. Picks up the kill on a Random Noob, but not before Random grabs 2. It's 99 to 96 in favor of Team Envy. A Hexafire, all types of ultimates from all types of angles, but it is Envy who is left standing.
You could say Rock Monkey had a very strong presence of mind there, especially coming out from there. I'm back, baby. I'm here. I got puns as well.
All right, baby. Well, I mean, it's one hell of a fight for sure. I mean, first blood at 2 minutes, 30 seconds in. The fight doesn't end until about 3 minutes and 30 seconds in. I don't really know what to say. It's tough to break that one down, given how long it was. I mean, the sheer size and length of that team fight. How many ultimates have been used? I mean, Mr. Hayes just popped his second Inflame in this round alone, so part of that is Ascension Peak. Part of that is just these compositions want to take it a little bit slower. Na'Vi can't really hard commit to the point like they're used to doing. They have to go a little bit slower, and they actually have to kill people before standing on the point with this type of comp.
Yeah, they are. Mutu does have. Now, here's what's different about Defender's advantage on Ascension Peak as opposed to others. You have the high ground, you have the upper ground. The thing is that the upper ground is right next to the point, so there's not very many spots you can hide where you won't get shot as opposed to Ice Mines. And there comes the Enlightenment from Rock Monkey. He doesn't end up finding anything.
I like the thought.
But it's like, yeah, I do too, because it was like he was trying to see if he could snipe Spunky, didn't get it.
Yeah.
But it was still worth a shot. No pun intended, but like actually it was worth the shot for him to try and go for that.
Spunky was about half HP. The reason Rock goes for that, the hitbox for Enlightenment is huge, so you can kind of like, as long as he would have gotten it, he hit the railing, but if he had gotten it up and over that railing, it probably would have clipped Spunky and killed him. So his mind was in the right place, just slightly off in the execution. Lazy manages to take down the Ruckus. Again, a pretty rare pick. We've seen a lot of rare picks today. Ruckus is not very frequently selected. Lex is never selected. Buck has not been selected for a long time. Willow's not been picked up for a long time. This relatively small balance patch has done a lot to shake up the meta.
It's crazy, because we're seeing, like you said, all these characters that aren't being picked are now picked, and I only cannot. I'm so excited to see when Io is available, right? When she comes live to the PPL, what these teams are going to have in store, because we're seeing a lot of unconventional picks. But nice ultimates coming out through time and space. Finds Rubu, gets the damage off. They manage to get 2. And now they're having to fall back just a little bit. Envy was in control all the way up until that point, and now they're being forced back. 10 seconds left on the clock. Not a good look. I don't know if they're going to be able to cash this one out.
It's just something that Rubu's going to have to be aware of for the duration of this game. Every time he pops a Hexafire, he's probably just going to get smacked by a time and space for standing. So still, one thing you can do to combat that as Ruckus is if you have your emitter cooldown ready to go, you can actually pop your shield during the channel of Hexafire. And emitter is 3,000 HP, so he's going to absorb all of the time and space and then some. It's just something he's going to have to be aware of and play around. If Spunky dies, then maybe Rubu can get some more done with it. But for now, it's Rock Monkey.
Yeah, right, yes. Good job with that Enlightenment, just being able to track him so well with that. We see the damage charts here on the left. Cassie, Phoenix, 2-2-3, as opposed to Leanne, who's 3-0-6. It's still a close run here. I say Rock Monkey's picks have been a lot stronger than Phoenix's, though.
I mean, Rock Monkey, for what it's worth, he is a main roster DPS. Leon is probably his best character. Cassie's very, very close as well. He's very, very on his top 3. He's just rock solid. Yeah. No pun intended there. Random Noob gets the first blood of this round, backing off. The Midnight was a great answer to Enlightenment there, despite the damage amp. Having to fight through that is not easy.
I don't know if he actually ended up getting. No, he didn't end up getting somebody. He wanted to make sure that he could try and get at least one person with that overpower, but Lazy goes down. He gets punished as a result for being that far out and away from his team. Does get staggered, currently respawning. Now Envy's fighting back. They're pushing them into their base just a little bit more time and time again. It's getting harder for Na'Vi to fight back. I've mentioned it before. These teams go back super far, and we're definitely seeing that because now Envy seems to be a little bit more awake than previous games.
Great knives landing on a Lazy here, up and over the shield. That's what Maeve does, baby. She jumps high, floats around the battlefield. Lobbing knives all the while. Somebody needs to die, though. I think if Envy are going to put this one away here and now. Mutu needs to go big, though. He's been very quiet this game thus far. I talked him up on this Lex. I want to see it start to pop off.
Yeah, he has ultimate too. If there was a time for him to ever pop off, it will be now. But he's getting a little bit forced back. He's not really finding the opening it is that he needs. He's forced here behind this corner while the rest of Team Envy is holding up to the right side of the point. Well, I believe, sorry, the left side of the point from Team Envy's perspective. And they're just holding it so strongly, 99%. They just have to cap one more time. Really, like, they just have to stand on it, keep people off of it, because the rest of Na'Vi is just backing off. Rock Monkey, these presence shots, excuse me, and a few other primary shots. I mean, it's going to net them the point.
Wow, Na'Vi.
Man.
Oh, excuse me. That is Envy capture.
Yeah.
We can just address it. There's like something going on with the spectator. When the red team captures, we tried to deduce what's happening. It's like when red team captures it, it just for some reason says blue team captured. That was Team Envy's payload. You can see it reflected up on the scoreboard. You can see it reflected in the progress bar is red. It is filling up red. All of that is still correct. Team Envy are up 2-1 here over Na'Vi. They are on the offense once again.
Random Noob toss a few daggers. The damage, my goodness. He ends up getting stabbed all the way to death from that. Random Noob does find the kill. Mr. Hayes ends up killing Lazy as well. They are pushing in now. Team Envy just, man, they are woke right now.
They are manhandling Na'Vi as well. Looking very good. This is Na'Vi's map pick as well. That is very worth noting. Still in that loser's pick phase of this best of 7. Na'Vi lost Ice Mines. Na'Vi got to pick Ascension Peak, but it looks like Envy know exactly what they want to do on this map.
Yeah, the ultimate is still there for Mutu. Hasn't used it. Lazy might try and find another overpower with a minute 25 left on the clock. He might be able to build it back up before they have the next round if Envy it does end up capturing it, but it seems like Na'Vi was able to push them off the point. It's a little bit. Mutu, man, he's having a little bit of a rough game with finding these spots, this positioning he needs to have.
Definitely. It can be tough, especially at this portion of Ascension Peak.
Yeah.
If he drops off the high ground from his spawn, it's not going to be pretty. He doesn't have a lot else to work with. Lazy goes down. That's the only frontliner for Na'Vi. They might give up this conversion.
Oh, yeah, there are already 2 that are down. Envy is respawning, though. Well, 2 individual Envy are respawning, but we see that the rest of them are just tearing up on base. Random Noob pushes in the payload. Rock Monkey finishes off the kill. Random Noob tossed it up. Rock Monkey brought it right back down. They do end up picking off creatives, and that nets them that point. 3-1. A lot of long sets today.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a long one. We still got one more set. Kanga versus the Renegades will be coming up after Envy Na'Vi concludes. Whichever way it does conclude. Na'Vi were up 3-1, but Team Envy look like they could be just a couple minutes away from evening this set up at 3 apiece. Best of 7s all around. We've had a couple of days like this in the past, but it's absolutely worthwhile, especially when you get to watch teams of this caliber go at it.
100% worth it. Always worth it to watch this amazing play from both of these really good teams, and really 4 teams it is that we've seen. We've got the other 2 still waiting to play, but both teams are playing their hearts out right now, man. I really love to see this. I'm sure the chat does, everyone at home does too. It's so amazing watching these players play. Random Noob going around for the flank, trying to 1v1 Mutu, but he ended up getting shot first. I don't think he's going to be able to make it. Nice dash, 79. Hell, that's the second time we've seen him live.
Well, he forced him out, and that's something, right? He didn't get the kill, but he did. Mutu had an influence on the map in this point fight. He's 1-4 right now. He was middle of the pack in terms of his damage output. Mutu has got to come alive. Let's take another look at the damage charts and see where this Lex has ended up. It's been it was such a hyper carry for Ninjas in Pajamas. That's why I'm kind of surprised to see it where it is for Na'Vi.
Right.
It's just not quite hitting the mark. Creative's on his way out, but Rubu's trying to track him down, and frankly, he might just get his wish.
Oh, yeah, but the thing is that nice. Oh, my goodness. You see this man on the basketball court. He's breaking his ankles. He can't keep up. My goodness. Rubu gets picked off, followed by Rock Monkey. Nice awareness from Creatives on that fresh movement, the smoothment, as I like to call it, smooth movement.
Love it, love it. Still, it's a lot to climb for Na'Vi. They're going to need more than just that. 2 for 1 is not going to do it. 3 for 1 certainly won't do it either. Overtime is going to start and finish in favor of Team Envy. Ascension Peak quickly cleaned up. And just like that, we've got ourselves a Game 7.
Yes, we do. The
Another
second game, the second Game 7 of today. Such good caliber play from both, man. It's so interesting to see these teams that are like so a little bit far behind, and then they just end up like picking the pace back up. They just keep going. They keep having these momentum, and this is what top caliber play is like. You see the second and third seed, right? Yeah, the second and third seed just doing so well overall. They're just really they're doing a thing today, man.
Navi looking more and more like the Golden State Warriors every second, man. They're about to blow this 3-1 lead. LeBron James is coming down the tracks right now, and he's not stopping. Envy, I don't know what this last map is going to be, but in my experience, you know, a good competitive set usually will start out with each team taking their own map pick, but as this goes on and these maps get more and more bottom of the barrel, nobody has like this heavy map advantage. So we're starting to see that there on Ascension Peak.
Yeah, we are. It's such a clean game from Team Envy. But will they cash out an even cleaner win? I believe the score is 3-3 now?
3-3.
Yeah, this is the last game, Game 7. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Respawn, the official gaming chair of the Paladins Premier League.
Welcome back, and thanks for sticking around. Envy, well, they win 2 straight. They only need 1 more. We're down to a Game 7. Hopefully you like Game 7s because we've got 2 of them so far for you today. One of them still yet to be decided. Gore, you said they had the composition to deal with triple DPS, and they dealt with triple DPS.
And they're just playing Envy's game, right? It's one of those things every time you ask these players who's going to win, almost every time you're going to get an answer, it depends on who shows up on the day, like who gets to play their game. Envy are playing their game right now, and when you look at the fact that I think a couple of them were undying for a good significant chunk of the game, if not undying for, maybe the entirety of the game. 18 streak there for Rock Monkey, 18 streak there for Mr. Hayes, 16 streak there for Random Noob. Mr. Hayes managed to live through everything at 5-0 and 13. Rock Monkey copies him except with 1 death at 5-1 and 13. But, I mean, the fact that they were able to go as long as they did without dying and have the impact that they have, again, you kind of look at Rubu and Tulki and see the space they're creating, but when it is Rock Monkey and Random, and admittedly Mr. Hayes this game, having the performance they are, your triple DPS doesn't matter because they're essentially running a triple DPS with their comp.
I mean, Random Noob went 11 and 3, but this was very much the 1-2 punch of Rock Monkey and Mr. Hayes. Like you said, 5-0-13 for the healer, 5-1-13 for Rock Monkey this game. And you're not going to win a game if you allow not only the damage dealer to essentially go undying, literally only died in that last mid-fight, was alive throughout the rest of the game, and then also the healer to not die as well. We're down to a Game 7. At this point, both teams have shown everything they have to offer. If you're Na'Vi, now you're starting to question, well, the triple DPS was automatic for us up to this point. Now Envy have shown that they can answer back, and the momentum is firmly in their favor. Remember, this is the opposite of what Na'Vi did to Envy, in that Envy now with a chance to complete a reverse comeback almost from 3-1 down.
And this is that area again where, again, what you were saying, what we were winning with isn't winning anymore. What we were trying when we weren't playing that wasn't winning to begin with. So if you go to, the standard like 2-2-1, that wasn't working against Envy. You keep it as it is with a triple DPS. That's not working. You have to go. There's 2 other avenues I've seen teams go in this point. You either go for a triple frontline or you pick Timber Mill right here, right now.
It's banned.
It's banned. I forgot about that part. But you pick either way, you unban Timbermill, you go there, you choose quad DPS, and you just hope for the best. But
Is Fish Market available?
oh please.
There's no way Na'Vi.
Na'Vi.
There's no 0%
They're like, you know
chance.
what? I
There's
like
no way.
game-ending maps or set-ending maps against Envy on Fish Market. That's Envy's map. Do not go to Fish
We're
Market.
not going
here.
to Fish Market.
What if we
0%
do?
chance. I'm trying to remember. I guess it would be Frozen Guard.
We've
Tell
still
me the
got-
bands again. Remind me of the band score.
Frozen Guard,
Well, we're
Stone
gonna see
Keep,
it
Frog
anyway.
Isle, Timbermill were all banned. You can still go to places like Bazaar,
Serpent Beach. That's right.
or you can go somewhere boring like Serpent Beach, where we've been all the time. No, yeah, I'm actually happy. This is the first Serpent Beach we've seen today.
It's a pretty satisfying map screen there. Pretty symmetrical. Na'Vi, and then Envy and Na'Vi trading off, with Envy winning the last two. It all comes down to one final Game 7. Something about day one of Split 2 as 7's up in the air. Remember, we still have a third set on the books after this one rounds up, but we're going to have to get through one more game of set number 2 before we get there. 4 frontliners banned out this time around. That maybe raises the stock of somebody like the Ashe. Barak and Nara may be here for Envy.
I'm still broken. I mean, earlier they played this Ashe.
I'm sorry, Gore.
Well, it's just I'm trying to predict them a little bit more, but Na'Vi are kind of a wild card right
That's
now.
true.
So what strategy they want to pull out? They did solo tank Ashe earlier. I like that they've gone for her first here, but I'm unsure as to whether or not that's the correct route, right? If they
Sure.
want to go for that, or if maybe the option to flex around, go back to, I don't want to say your roots, but like grab a Nara here, grab Maldamba here, and then just ignore everything else, go for those counter picks.
Maeve has been so effective for Random Noob as well. 11-3 last game on Ascension Peak on the Maeve. Not the most damage, lots of executes, lots of kill confirms, which I think it's really what you're going to look at on these flanky, kind of quick burst type champions. And like you said, now Na'Vi are in an interesting spot where, honestly, they've drafted well enough today where you're wondering up until that final pick, they're going to have to show 2 picks at once there towards the end. But up until those later picks, you don't really know. You don't know with, of course, not just an Ashe on the board, what direction they may choose to go. Genos still around. Maldamba, Ying, Furia, healer-wise, the meta's been pretty healthy, I would say, as well.
And it's one of those things, as awesome as Genos can be, he's not good with like a Nara, and so going for, if you're going to go double tank and you're going to go Ashe and Nara, you don't want Genos really with it. Furia is a really good kind of shoe-in because you still get the damage amp,
Sure.
but you get all the healing behind it as well. But they do go Ashe, Cassie, Genos, which to me is screaming once again that they're going to be looking for a triple DPS. They're kind of going to be running it back. Last time they had Cassie, Ashe, Genos, they closed out with Leon Willow, and that was on Splitstone Quarry. So you could argue that there's a somewhat similar layout for the map, but vastly squished in terms of the point fight,
Sure.
if you're kind of comparing high ground
Sure.
to high ground. And the bleacher portion is waterfall for this map, right? So it's a little
Right.
bit of a different fight. You're going to be focusing potentially Ashe onto the point, and then everybody else onto waterfall. Maybe you can send somebody if you get a flank, like, you know, Maeve on the one side, but somebody here for Na'Vi, like Alex, that can go around Sundial. But you're kind of spreading thin once you start looking at
Right.
that. So I'm kind of curious to see how they close this out, since it looks like another triple DPS.
I'm sure Envy are privy to that. I'm sure that's something they've certainly taken into account. The 3 games they've lost have been at the hands of triple DPS. And I think smartly taking away the Leon in this case, if Na'Vi were going to add another DPS, or another 2 DPS, I should say, Leon definitely would have been in that conversation of one of the final 2 to add in here. So Envy taking away Furia, taking away Leon to round out their top 4. Na'Vi hovering the Eevee here. Again, not really showing anything. They're going to have to reveal their full hand here. Final 2 picks for them on the board. I think Eevee, again, that doesn't necessarily tell us what direction they're going to go. Maybe the Genos, though, as you said, kind of tilts their hand a little bit. Shaolin could round out the triple DPS.
Not someone I've seen in a little while, but depending on who's flanking onto it or flexing onto it at this point, wouldn't be surprised to see potentially Phoenix running that Shaolin, something that when he was kind of, like last year when triple DPS started to take over and Na'Vi had to play it, not so much they wanted to play it. Phoenix was the one that was kind of doing that flex, and it was almost always onto Shaolin. It looks really good. On this map, if you go for something like Recurve as your talent, you can still get a lot of good stuns, especially around the pillars and especially on a push. But when you are going maybe for explosive arrow with Genos, it's a lot of damage. Like, it is a
No, it
huge
is.
burst that some people don't know how to deal with.
And you see Shaolin's with that extra burst damage. Honestly, they'll go Wrecker a lot of the times. Cassie as well. Actually, that's somewhat interesting, picking a Ruckus into a Cassie. You don't normally see that. All that considered, though, 5 picks for both sides. Game 7. Final thoughts on either lineup here.
I think Envy are comfortable. And
Yep.
that's a very dangerous game to be playing against them. I think Na'Vi like all of their picks, but I don't think they are going to be as comfortable as Envy are in this game. So they're going to have to kind of maybe take that pressure
Yep.
and turn it into a victory and turn it into a performance.
Oh, Envy could do it. One more game would complete the semi-reverse sweep. But for one last time, set number 2. Let's go down to your casters.
Thank you, Dolmizer. We appreciate the pass coming from the desk. This is it. This is the last game coming out from Na'Vi versus Envy. Such a demanding lead from Na'Vi, and now Envy, man, they caught all the way back up.
Right back to it, starting to kind of maybe, again, this is a different style from Na'Vi, so maybe figuring that out a little bit and Envy knowing what to do against 3 DPSs. We've mentioned a couple times that this is a very, very old school matchup. They've played each other a lot. These teams outside of the game are very close, good friends. So figuring each other out is probably not something that takes a ton of time to do. Even though this is a new style, you still know, like, Mutu, like, how he makes his decisions. He sits on his horse for a long time, and he's very patient. He waits for his angle. You know, like that, no matter what he's playing, that still doesn't change pretty much about him. I saw him doing it on the Buck. I saw him doing it on any flanker he's ever really played. That's just him, and it seems that Envy are starting to figure it out.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're finally in their mojo. They've got it. They've got their momentum. Now they just need to steamroll that all the way to this victory. This would be it. Random Noob finds the first kill onto Creatives. They had a little flank battle off on the right, but they do lose their front liner. Rubu is going down, and now the rest of Na'Vi is going to try and push up. Excuse me. Don't want them to actually get started.
Yeah, 42% already getting started. Lazy has great positioning, though. He sort of usurped the high ground away from Team Envy, but Phoenix will finally take down Rock Monkey. Now they have a lot of room to breathe, a lot of room to work with. You'll see everyone from Na'Vi start to push up, and Spunky will backfill, grab the objective, as everybody else can start to fan out, zone, knock people off their horses, and maybe get a pick.
Yeah, hopefully they do end up getting the pick, because now that the percentage is almost at 45 to 45, Na'Vi slowly climbing. The question is, like, even though there is 4 points, will Envy try to, they at least need to try and get the first point going. Need to keep that momentum, and that might be the start to it. Toki finds a kill on the Lazy. Rock Monkey finds another one of his own. 2 down. Now Na'Vi's going to be forced to back off.
Wow, there's so many low HP targets around that corner for Phoenix, but he just didn't have the information. Sometimes when you're watching, be a spectator, you have all the info, you know how low everybody is, where their ultimates are, how close things are going to be.
Yeah.
You really want to make that call for him, but unfortunately he cannot see that for himself. Enflame is actually popped, and Team Envy will probably put their foot down and grab this first payload.
Yeah, they will. Now Na'Vi's on the back foot here. Rock Monkey does kill Lazy, as we just saw. The rest of Na'Vi's going to have to wait for this man to come back up, and now we see 4 ultimates online for Na'Vi, though. Almost 5. They almost have a full stack going on right now. 2 ultimates on the side of Envy. I mean, what can you do, man? Like, do they use it now? Like what do they go for in this scenario?
Yeah, usually, I mean, when you have 5 strong especially, you'll see Na'Vi kind of just pop ults because, you know, why waste it? Why allow Envy to continue to rock and roll on this momentum? Right after Heat Haze, Mutu goes down. I gotta say, it's been a rough day for Mutu in general.
Yeah, it has.
He barely brought the Buck performance out of the dark. Lex last map was not very great. Tough start here on Shaolin as well. Mutu just trying to find what is my champion pool in phase 2.
On the flip side, nice knockback coming out from Phoenix. He does knock Toki off. That's going to keep Envy just a little bit delayed, a little bit stalled to try and get on the point. Try and do what they can. Through time and space, finds Mr. Hayes. Now the rest of them are going to come through. We see that not as sincere. They start to move in one after the other. They found the kill. They know what they want, and now they want to push forward.
Lazy's here running Fortress Breaker as well, but out-shielded. Toki says, that's a nice shield. It's pretty big. Looks like it's got a lot of HP. How's about a dome shield, brother? 20,000 HP up over the top of Lazy, as well as a nice little flamethrower turret underneath. Makes for an interesting matchup there between Varric and Ash. Funny to watch there, but Toki Certainly outshields Ash in that instance.
Yeah, Creators had to back off. Phoenix goes pop immediately onto Random Noob. He gets deleted. Now Rubu's back. Oh, but you're too tall. You got to duck before you enter the doorway, young man. You don't want to get your head stuck up there. He ends up getting knocked, at least not knocked back, but he's now being pressured. Assert dominance. Hexifier follows through. He keeps himself CC immune, but it's not going to be enough. They do kill Phoenix, but Mr. Hayes goes down. Now with no healer. Can Envy clutch this out?
You know, I'm kind of like fighting game nodding over here because I was like, that was a very weird Hexifier to me
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the start,
yeah.
but it worked out. So, you know, you
Yeah.
just got to kind of
Yeah,
nod
just
that
gotta
one
nod.
off. Okay,
Okay,
Rubu
okay.
gets it done. I think he wanted to pop that before the shoulder bash hit so he didn't get knocked away.
Right.
Kind of inconsequential that he got knocked away when it's all said and done. He still manages to get a decent amount of damage out onto Phoenix, setting up that kill. Rubu's 3-1 at this stage of the game, but Envy still need to find a way to break this final corner. They've got some resources to work with as well, be it the Midnight Enflame as well as Enlightenment.
Yeah, they do. Rubu finds the kill onto Mutu, though. And we see that Lazy's taking this high ground. He's trying to get a few shots here and there. Sir Dominus slowly building back up. There's the Enflame, though. The go button is already. Phoenix finds a kill on the Random Noob, though. Rubu finds one of his own in return. The rest of them are still pushing the payload. Overtime is there. And remember, we haven't seen this yet, but in the middle of Phoenix killing all these individuals, the longer overtime is up. If they get knocked off, the faster it goes down. They won't be able to cap, and there it is, exactly what I was talking about.
Patience pays off for Phoenix there. Hits a great angle on those frontliners, but he waited to get out of combat healing, got back in there at full strength.
Yep.
Hits a huge combo onto Ruckus, as well as Tolki getting taken out. A couple of great disengage from the boy so far this game. Really liked what I've seen from Phoenix all day today. He's gotten his comfort picks as well. They've done a good job. Whether it's Leon, whether it's Cassie, those are his top two when he flexes off of the off tank. Shaolin, if he absolutely probably has to, but it's actually Mutu that will take up the arms as Shaolin this time around. He was 1-4, has managed to sort of, you know, kind of like with Buck, brought it out back to 4-4, at least broke even through that first round. Got a couple of nice last hits there to round it out.
Yeah, but take a look at the, if you don't mind, could you go back to the damage dealt charts? Because I didn't expect to see who was at the top. You see the healing here. Furia is a little bit bigger in terms of that. Wait, I'm sorry. Spunky, I was in the middle of talking before you just popped off and got 2 kills. In the middle of that, the through time and space does find 2 kills on the side of Team Envy. Nicely
said,
done.
Stefan's not done with his analysis. Let me just end this fight
Yeah.
before it starts so he can keep talking. And clearly he's going to make a good point there. Let's take a look at the damage charts, though, Stefan. I want to kind of see what you were getting at
See,
there.
like, look at the top, though. Look who's number 1.
Young
That's what I was
Lazy.
getting. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I was getting to. That's what I
that
was
is
trying to
surprising.
say.
Yeah.
Because I saw that he was at the top, and I was like, I had to double take because I was like, wait a minute. Lazy. But this is not the first time that we see him at the top of the damage charts as a frontliner. His Anara, man.
Yeah.
His
Comeback
Anara.
mechanic makes it an easy capture for Na'Vi. And what's really special about that top damage performance is it's a Fortress Breaker, Ash. It's not a slug shot. Normally, like, when you see slug shot picked up on not even necessarily Surf and Beach, but in general, you know, you have a greater effective range. It's as simple as that. You're going to be able to land more poke shots and do more damage straight up as Ash. But in this case, Lazy's like playing this defensive talent for Ash, trying to utilize this shield to be some semblance of a point tank when Na'Vi need it most, and he's still managing to top damage. It is a very impressive feat.
Yeah, it is. Man, this kid Lazy, dude. Like, he's popping off in more ways than one. Such a good player. Phoenix finds a kill onto Rubu, though. This will be the start of them continually pushing. I heard the Inflame go up, and there we see the wings on the back of Tolki. He has to retreat, though. It's too much damage coming off on the side of not as Vincier. Now, Rock Monkey might be a little bit in a bad spot. He backs off and manages to live.
There it
he
is.
lives
It's
my
close.
but never mind.
Spunky with another
Spunky,
one.
can you stop interrupting me? Can I just finish what I'm supposed to be saying in the first place? Can you let me speak, please?
So rude, but at the end of the day, Na'Vi managed to sweep Envy off of the field.
Man.
Spunky is the only life that is claimed in exchange for that 5-man dominant performance, and Na'Vi, just like that, it's a quick capture thanks to the comeback mechanic, and now they're up 3-1.
But here's the thing.
Actually, I'm trolling. That wasn't comeback mechanic. They just did
No,
that.
no. Yeah, it wasn't 100%
They just
not.
did that.
Yeah, they just did their thing.
They just did
That was
thing.
not a
I'm
comeback
trolling.
mechanic. They literally just capped the point and just kept pushing.
God damn.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And here you can see on the replay through time and space that sets it up. Oh,
That's spicy.
Eee!
That is disgusting.
My body being torn asunder.
That is so practice. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah,
To
yeah.
peel off from the pack, mid-bridge fall, just yeet that one across the map right as everyone else from Team Envy is leaving their high ground. Very well executed. Can I see items? Does he have... No, I was going to say, like, does he have Master Riding to hit that in time? What did he have to
just
do?
Chronos.
He probably had to hit this jump. Is he going to go for it? Yeah, so that's probably it.
Yeah, right
That is
there.
actually not easy to do. That what Spunky just did, you just have to, like, touch your horse's butt to the wall so you get the wall jump and then make that leap. It's not easy to do. You have to do it flawlessly to hit that timing that Spunky
Right.
just hit.
And that's what you
That
would
was
see.
sick.
That's what you would see at PPL, man. You'll see all this crazy stuff that you not would have expected. Sounds simple in concept, but it's not, dude. Your sight fails you. Here comes the heat haze coming out from Shaolin. Mutu taking a few shots. 1, 2, finds him a kill, and now he will go for the next few. I don't know if he will actually be able to do it, though. They are applying the pressure. Na'Vi, man, they're looking to push it in.
Wow, Mutu lived here. Double kill. Na'Vi simply woke up. Mutu's finding frags. Phoenix is getting kills. 39%. No comeback mechanic here. But if Envy don't do something soon, they're going to be laughed out of Serpent Beach and laughed out of this set.
There's 3 ultimates online. The Inflame, the Dome Shield, the Darkness. They have to use They have to use the Darkness to get in. But the
it is.
Assert Dominance, look at how far back Lazy is. Look at what he's doing to the rest of Team Envy. Are they going to be able to contest? They did kill Phoenix, who's on the point. Such a good play. They just barely make it, and now the clock strikes midnight.
Rubu has been phenomenal today. He gets Envy back in position to at least be in the conversation on Serpent Beach. Nice stun comes out from Mutu, but Random actually trades it out. Creatives gets one, but taken
man.
out. Dome Shield from Tolki. I think Envy just opened the door.
Yeah, they definitely are doing what they can, man. Team Envy, they're fighting back, dude. Like, I thought that was it, 99%.
Yeah, I
like,
thought that
in
was
what
it.
situation do you have it so that you are clutching like this? Because look at this, man. Overtime already? None of them able to contest through time and space, try and find something. Rock Monkey, Rubu, the rest of them,
He hit
just
it.
killing them?
87 health, not even close, baby. That's a nice time and space.
Man.
But again, Rubu has been phenomenal. If I could give an MVP trophy for this set, if Envy win it, it's going to Rubu for me. So many clutch situations. His Ashe performance back on Jaguar Falls, even though they weren't able to win this one. His Ruckus performance, getting some critical kills. And especially some of the matchups that he has to fight into. Like the desk mentioned, even in his Play Like a Pro video,
Right.
he mentions you don't want to pick Ruckus into Cassie if you can help it. You don't want to do this, but he had to, and he's playing around this matchup and still finding a way to be successful. Rubu has been absolutely phenomenal today.
Good job on Rubu, good job on Lazy. The frontliners need some, man, they need like, what do
That
they
boy
need?
needs some milk.
He needs some, oh yeah, Toki needs some milk after getting killed by Spunky like that. 110%. He needs some assistance of some sort. They cannot make it back, but they do have a minute 30 left on the clock. They do have some time to get back there. They can slowly but surely, gradually make their way back, and they are doing that. But Na'Vi has such a good spot right now. Look at Random Noob's health. He just got back, and he's almost dead already.
A lot of burst damage on this Na'Vi triple DPS squad. It's a whole new chapter for them. They have to master this style, though, and defeating Team Envy in a new way will prove very interesting. Creatives finds the first kill onto Tolki of this engagement. Still plenty of time left in the round, and we are going to need it, too, because they're certainly not going to get it done in this fight.
But they're fighting back. The thing is that even if they do lose this round, they have these ultimates online. They have this positioning. If they do lose the round, not as Vincier, Na'Vi can't win yet. They do have to cap the point to be able to cash this out to make sure that they win this. But it's not, man, Envy's not letting it go easy. Just like PK earlier today, dude.
Yep.
Like, it's not going down without a fight.
No matter what, Stefan is right. The game will not come to an end. Na'Vi or Envy will have to take some offensive action to end the game, whether it's a conversion, whether it is a point capture. 27 seconds left on the clock here. Lots of ultimates starting to pile up.
Yeah.
But again, if Envy let them, and even if they don't, Na'Vi might just pop nothing. If it goes through, it goes through. Whatever. We have all of our ultimates available for the next round, for the next point fight. We're confident we can win it. But it's up to Envy to set the pace for this fight.
Yeah, it is entirely up to them to set the pace. 1-for-1 trade. Just about to say that, man. They end up they trade out one of their teammates for the enemy teammate, but 2 are down. On the side of Nas Vincier, they have a longer respawn timer. 2 for 2. Will we go for a 3 for 3? Maybe not, because Creatives finds one, and never mind. They do end up finding it. He can't use it. He gets stunned. Nice awareness from Mutu. Random Noob's going to try and make it back, but he won't be able to. The score is 3-2. This is it. Can Na'Vi close this out?
Basically an ideal defense there from Na'Vi. Na'Vi used nothing. Envy don't use a lot. They use Enlightenment, which is it's big. It can be a big turnaround moment for you.
Yeah.
Let's call it like it is. Only 8% on that ultimate, so Rock Monkey is likely to not have it available for this fight. If he got a kill with it and got it back to 50%, I probably still would have called it worth.
Right.
That's not the situation we are in. Mutu has come alive, 13-8 on the Shaolin after a 1-4 start.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult. Very, very impressive, frankly, from there on out. Spunky, obviously positive. Lazy, though he is 3-9, he was top damage at one point in this game. He's only about 1,400 off of top damage now. Frontliners are not often defined by their slash lines. You have to watch them for the impact. Spunky goes for it again.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
But he didn't get it.
Yeah,
Only once.
Yeah. He went for the kill, didn't find it. I knew that he was going to try and go for the same thing again. They do have one ultimate down, though. The rest of Team Envy just have to try and live this onslaught. 10% on the point for them. This is really going to be it. Random Noob does go down. Now the rest of Na'Vi, they smell blood in the water. They want to go in. They want to make sure they pick this off. They get 2, and now they're going to be in control of the point here.
I can't believe it. I mean, Lazy plays that one so smart because he kind of does nothing.
Right,
I think that Envy wanted him to ult that up onto that high ground, whether it was, you know, some type of counter they had planned for it, but Lazy just played it patiently, held onto his ultimate that entire time, didn't even get any healing there. Once he got low, he sort of just backed off, pops his ultimate now to stay alive. 72% for Na'Vi. Again, he's not on the front line, but Phoenix is still capping the point.
Yeah, they're trying to fight back as hard as they can. Random Noob being so low, he has to back off into the corner. They don't want to close out yet. They want to make sure that they can definitely get on the point without being contested. They don't want to make themselves out in the open. Don't want to put themselves in that spot. Don't want to get picked off, because right now, no ultimates are online. And Flame's coming back up. Rubu's the first to go down, though. Big shot from Mutu. Now we're looking at the game ending.
Loving what I'm seeing. Ultimate's starting to come back online. Spunky's going to have another laser beam for this fight if it drags on much longer. 98, 99, 100. It's up. It's charged. Spunky is primed and ready to delete somebody off the face of Serpent Beach. 2 more for Phoenix. 1 for Creatives. 1 for Lazy. The best of 7 comes to a close. Spunky even hit the laser beam. It's a cherry on top. Na'Vi in 7 games defeat Envy.
Nice job, guys. Like, I cannot stress enough how strong of a play that was, how good it was in general, like what they did. Show them the penguin.
Yeah, buddy.
Show them what fuels you, what gives you power. Nicely done from Na'Vi, man. That was a very good last set on Serpent Beach. Such amazing play coming out from them.
And what is so special about that win from Na'Vi, in my opinion, is they did it largely with that new style. They didn't play a ton of 3 DPS. Like I said, when I was teaching you about these teams not a couple months ago, I was saying, you know, Na'Vi, they play this point tank style. Sometimes they'll all be negative. They'll do no damage, but they win the damn game because they captured more points than you did.
Right.
And because this is day 1 of a brand new style and they're already able to take down a great team like Envy, that speaks volumes for where Na'Vi is at.
The hugs coming out all around. I love to see this. And now you see it. Now that the seriousness, the faces have dropped. Now that Na'Vi can take a breath of fresh air after it being 3-3. Now you see them hugging it out. These teams, such good friends. They're all around, just great people in general. Such good plays coming out from both teams. Really, really well played. And I don't know what else to say about that, man. Like that was
a war.
That was a war. They fought hard. Envy didn't make it, but man, this is the second time that we've seen teams didn't think that they would be able to do it, and now it's 3-3. I don't know what else to say, man. Like, that's...
Can you handle one more best of 7, Stefan?
Man, I would love to.
What time is it right now? I mean, we got one more set coming out. It is 5:30. We started at 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
We still got one more on the docket for you guys. It is far from over here at the PPL. Let's get it back up to the desk and hear their thoughts on that banger.
Did start at 11 in the morning. I'm actually not sure what color it is outside right now. I haven't seen daylight in it. We do get 2 best of 7s, though, to start off the day that both go the entire distance. Before we recap that one, we still got one more set. Remember, Renegades Kanga coming up right after we break this one down. What a Game 7 it was, though. Looked very close. Na'Vi end up holding strong this time around. What jumps out to you from the Na'Vi side?
100k damage from
Just
Phoenix.
got there. One auto attack was enough.
And that's all he needs to break six digits there. No one else kind of, I mean, like close, but no one else being able to topple that. You see about 3,000 damage behind him, about 7,000 damage behind him. 19, 5, and 18 stands out for him. 15, 9, and 18 there, though, for Mutu, who I think is again, like when you look at what they're running on the side of Na'Vi, that Mutu pick, I think, is probably the bigger flex overall.
Sure.
And I'm going to be 100% is just now occurring to me. Now, I recognize that they were running the triple DPS, but seeing how well like Mutu was able to kind of pick this up and run it, and again, it just feels like a different Mutu than what we got to see pretty much all of the first split.
No, I agree. I'd agree with that statement. I mean, he was sort of consistently inconsistent, honestly, almost in a way, the first split, where he'd have these games where he'd blow up, have games where he doesn't have quite the impact. I mean, even there, he had 80 health, gets in a couple more auto attacks before dying, and just that extra little bit of damage helps in so many different ways. But you have to look at Na'Vi. Now you're wondering if their meta is almost just triple DPS. This is such a small sample size. This is one game, one set, excuse me, that they've played. But they won all of their games in a triple DPS composition.
Is the 3 hours they gave you enough footage to like go into tomorrow thinking, you know what, maybe we know how to beat Na'Vi?
No.
Yeah, that's
probably. I mean, they're going up against Envy, so maybe that's an Envy-based strategy. I don't know. Either way, though, it's been a fun kind of flex day that we've been able to see. Whether it's whether it's Lex, whether it's Willow. This triple DPS composition that we see coming out from Na'Vi. Of course, your updated standings, NIP still up top. Na'Vi move themselves a little bit further up in second place. Envy down in fourth at 9 and 6. Of course, our final matchup of the day, Kanga versus Renegades. And the way the seeding and all that works for Worlds, these lower tier matchups are ever so important.
Yeah.
So this matchup this afternoon, God willing, it'll go 7 games as today deserves, I think. It becomes ever so important looking towards matchup number 3.
Yeah, and again, like, so looking at where, I guess, Envy and Na'Vi are, like, coming in 10 and 4, 9 and 5, like, when you're looking at just those numbers, they were right next to each other. And now, like, being able to separate that gap a little more, I think it's ever more important going through this split, because, again, these are the standings you're going to have, not only left over from before, but going into the World Championship, going on that road that you're having to run down. So going all of a sudden 9 and 6, being in fourth place and being a little closer to where Kanga and VP are, like, those things will matter just with the way things are split. Typically, you're looking at the top, like, you want to be in the top 4 pretty much consistently all the time. And so Renegades, and I mean, honestly, even some of the top teams are still playing upset. They're still playing the how far down can we knock you? Like, Na'Vi don't need to win this one to continue staying in second. They're pretty solidly in second to begin with. But being able to win it, stay in second, and knock Envy down a little bit it's just all kind of conjunction helping them for later on in the year.
In that, like, top block of teams, it's like 2 through 5 almost, are all within just a couple wins of one another. So Na'Vi will certainly be feeling good after grabbing the 7-game win today over Envy. But don't take my word for it. Let's send it down to an interview and hear how they're feeling.
All right, guys, good job on winning that. Such a very strong play style coming out from you guys. And one thing it is that I'd like to ask is, I noticed that you guys normally run triple DPS. You guys are normally pretty aggressive. What normally went for the switch? I noticed you guys were playing a little bit different. I don't know if you could talk about that too much, but I was just genuinely curious. Like, what caused that change?
Mostly we had very limited practice beforehand because we took a week off, and then we had people traveling back home because not everyone lives at home. So we barely had any practice. So the only way to come into a week of PPL with limited practice is find a strategy that's off so people don't know how to play against it and just practice one thing.
Would you consider, I mean, there's been metas with 3DPS before, but would you say it's far, especially for you guys, because I said it a couple times on cast, when I was teaching him about like what you guys are, I was like, they play the point better than anyone else. This is very different than what you guys normally do, especially for you, Lazy, having a like solo tank. Is this just you guys wanting to get a new style that you're comfortable with under the belt? What is this new, 3 DPS every game type of Na'Vi that we're seeing?
We wanted more versatility and like being able to do a lot of things. So when it comes to the moment of us losing with a certain draft like double tank, we can always switch it up to triple to make it more what do you call it, less stale.
Sure.
So
There's so many off-tank bans too. It's like at
That's
some
the main
point
reason.
it's like, well, pick Fernando or pick a top-tier DPS that's still left open. It's kind of it's almost on YouTube more than anyone in a 3 DPS comp versus a double tank to stretch. Like Phoenix, for you, a lot of Cassie, a lot of Leon. Can we expect you to try and get more, and Tyra as well, of course, but can we expect you to try and put more in the repertoire if you guys have to play more 3 DPS, or do you feel like 3 characters is enough for an off-tank flex?
I had 6 more characters ready on DPS.
Oh, all right. Those are fighting words. I can't wait to see more 3 DPS out of Na'Vi. Congrats on the best of 7 win. That was an absolute war, guys. We're going to throw it to a quick break. We'll get ready for our last set of the day.
INAP, powering the control room for the Paladins Premier League.